The Master of Poisons transforms Douluo. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Three people come together. Assessment area number 1 at this time. It can be said to be the focus of everyone's attention. Huo Yuhao, Wang Dong and the other two were still in the preparation area looking at Wang Dong. Huo Yuhao nodded unexpectedly. They actually met during the freshman assessment. Moreover, if it weren't for his bad luck in the final draw, Wang Dong might have really been able to make it into the top 2 even without him by his side. Wang Dong was still growing vigorously and it seemed that the results were quite good. Huo Yuhao was also very pleased about this. It feels like my stupid son has grown up. When Wang Dong met Huo Yuhao's gaze, he was stunned for a moment, and then burst out with a strong desire to fight. Although she was unlucky and picked Huo Yuhao, she was inexplicably excited now as a teammate. Huo Yuhao is very reliable, especially the last time he saved her from the human-faced demon spider. His strength was truly reassuring now as an opponent. Wang Dong is also eager to try, and even his tone is much more cheerful. Zio, Bai Yan, let's do our best. After a night's rest, Zio has naturally recovered a lot. Although he can no longer burst out like yesterday, he can still be considered a timely fighter. Bai Yan's weak voice sounded. Are we really going to fight Huo Yuhao? Your bodies haven't fully recovered yet, why don't you surrender? She had heard that all of Huo Yuhao's previous opponents were ruthlessly knocked down. The guy opposite showed no mercy even when facing a cute girl. Zio also agreed. Yes, Yuhao was able to come this far on his own, and even easily defeated Su Sanchi, one of the twin stars of the outer courtyard. His strength must be terrifying. Even an evil phantom moon forced the three of them into such an embarrassing state, not to mention Su Sanchi, who is known as the Gemini stars of the outer court. And not to mention Huo Yuhao, who defeated Su Sanchi. Wang Dong rolled his eyes at his teammates who were afraid before the battle. What's wrong with you two? Didn't you agree to take first place? Zhou Yi is still watching from up there. I was the one who spoke outrageously yesterday. Bai Yan was the first to admit defeat. As the one who was carried away by the easy win, her performance yesterday was really arrogant. Zio snorted. Come on, Zhou Yi really has bad intentions. She wants to be the champion? Why doesn't she let us play title Douluo? And there will be rewards for the top 3. We should save our strength so that we can win the 3rd place match this afternoon. At this point, Zio couldn't help but secretly glance at Huo Yuhao and whispered, besides, Yuhao is so handsome, I can't bear to do it, and there's Huo Yuhao's superb cooking skills. If you annoy the cook, how can you get free food and drinks later? Looking at Zio's look of a young girl in love, Wang Dong was completely stunned. No, there is a traitor among us. I just took Zio to have meals a few times, and you fell for me already? Weren't you very interested in your own men's clothing before? Damn philandering woman. Zio, what's wrong with you? Am I not as good looking as you? How? For some reason, Wang Dong felt a sense of victory or defeat at this moment, but in a strange place. Well, although Wang Dong is very pretty, Yuhao is just too handsome. After Zio looked between Wang Dong and Huo Yuhao, she came to this conclusion. Bai Yan also approved of Zio's aesthetics. Yes, the class monitor's temperament feels a bit unique, and somewhat feminine. Wang Dong? ? It was hard for her to refute this. Wang Dong touched herself subconsciously, thinking that her disguise should still be there. I felt inexplicably guilty. Wang Dong coughed twice and concluded the discussion. It's almost time, let's go. The war is about to begin. Although we can't win now, we still have to fight well. It was also because Zhou Yi couldn't hear the conversation between the 3 people. Otherwise she would have been so angry that she would have vomited blood. No one expected that Wang Dong and the other two, who Zhou Yi had high hopes for the outcome, has been decided before the fight even begins. In the number 1 assessment area, the referee waved to both parties at the same time, signaling them to enter. Due to Wang Dong's amazing performance in the previous competition, the referee of this semi-final was replaced by a 60-year-old man. This teacher had a very strong aura, and just standing there made people feel extremely powerful. It was obvious that he was a powerful spirit master, specially sent to avoid mistakes in this competition. The referee said solemnly, starting from the semi-finals, the rules have changed to some extent. You can move freely in the venue, but the flying height of the flying spirit owner cannot exceed 10 meters above the ground. During the competition, You can go all out and don't have to hold back. I will control the degree of the competition. Anyone who is rescued from the competition venue by me will be deemed to have finished the competition. Do you understand? Understood. Both parties replied in unison after the naming session is over. Game. Start. With the announcement from the invigilator, the semifinals officially began as the first encounter between Huo Yuhao, the favorite to win the championship, and the dark horse Wang Dong's team. This game basically attracted everyone's attention as for the battle with Dai Hubin. It's just a crushing victory, nothing exciting. Wang Dong was the first to release her martial soul, and a pair of azure blue wings appeared behind her, emitting a dreamy luster under the sunlight like goddess butterfly. This kind of martial spirit is unique in the entire Shrek Academy. Its appearance immediately caused exclamations from the students present. It's so beautiful. Especially Wang Dong's two soul rings, one yellow and one purple, are even more eye-catching, but with Huo Yuhao's spiritual eyes possessing the body, the three soul rings, one yellow and two purple, were even more shocking. Especially those students who had never actually seen Huo Yuhao's performance before and only knew of Huo Yuhao's name through hearsay. Everyone's eyes widened. How could there be such an outrageous existence among the freshmen? There were also senior students who came to watch the fun. They had heard that this year's freshmen were exceptionally strong, but they had not expected it to be this outrageous. They feel like their age might be fake. I'm sorry for being human. I am afraid of comparison and everything. Generally speaking, even for Shrek Academy students, it takes about the third year to reach the third ring. At the same time, the third ring is also a necessary condition for the third year to be promoted to the fourth year. Among this batch of freshmen, it is said that there are already 4 soul masters. With such strength, they will almost certainly be able to enter the inner courtyard in the future. Xiao also focused her eyes and raised her hands in front of her. In her hands there was an emerald green flute, and her temperament became otherworldly and elegant. 9 phoenixes come to play the flute. A yellow soul ring quietly lit up, and a faint melody sounded. The melody was not very pleasant, but it gave people a sticky texture. A layer of emerald green halo also spread outward with Xiao's body as the center. The first soul skill, slow, can slow down the opponent by 20%. It was also at this moment that Wang Dong and Bai Yan both took action, using their offensive spirit skills to attack Huo Yuhao from both sides. Under pressure from Huo Yuhao's momentum, all teams who encountered him chose to fight with their backs against the wall and attack with all their might. Only in this way can they find a chance to win. This is also one of the classic methods of using the weak to defeat the strong. Wang Dong released his first soul skill, the winged guillotine. Without hesitation, the edges of her gorgeous wings formed a circle of golden light about 3 inches wide. And with an unstoppable sharp aura, it slashed towards Huo Yuhao. Although Bai Yan's martial soul is the spine-tailed swift, she is not a pure speed-type soul master. Her first soul skill is flying, and her second soul skill is called swallow return. Yamfan can be used to speed up and also has an attack effect. At this moment, under the combined blockade of the 3 people, Huo Yuhao had nowhere to escape. Huo Yuhao's hands glowed with a faint blue light, and he took on the attacks from both the men with incredible accuracy. Before the two could react, Huo Yuhao shook his wrist. Wang Dong and the other man only felt a terrifying force coming at them, and they were thrown out of the field uncontrollably. It was also at this time that Xiao's attack came. She has already switched her martial soul to the Samsheng Soul Suppressing Cauldron. The Samsheng Soul Suppressing Cauldron fell to the ground with a bang, and the air above Huo Yuhao's head seemed to be distorted. The location and timing of its fall could only be described as perfect. The shock of the tripod. There was a loud bang. Xiao used her second soul skill, Ding Zhi Da. Huo Yuhao caught the 3 tripods calmly without any injury, and instead swung them away before the crowd had a chance to applaud Huo Yuhao for his calm response. Wang Dong rushed to the battlefield again, the most powerful light of the butterfly god. For a moment, golden light shone brightly, and Huo Yuhao was instantly swallowed by it. End of this chapter. Chapter 102. Stop here. The situation on the field changed instantly. Xiao's twin martial souls, Wang Dong's 1,000-year soul skill, all of these shocked the new students maybe can win? Before they could even arrive, the students at the edge of the assessment area cheered for the tacit cooperation of Wang Dong's team. A flash of purple gold light appeared by and by. Immediately afterwards, a violent soul power swept across the entire venue. In an instant, under the pressure of soul power, it was as if an invisible hand was grasping their hearts tightly, making them feel suffocated. The golden light in the sky dissipated in an instant, and Huo Yuhao's long black hair fluttered in the wind, but he was completely unharmed. On the contrary, Xiao and Bai Yan had both left upon closer inspection. It turned out that the two had been rescued in time by the referee. Wang Dong's team lost 2 members in an instant. Only Wang Dong is still struggling without any words or actions. Huo Yuhao had already become the center of the whole place. Everyone then suddenly realized that the third purple ring rhythmically moving behind Huo Yuhao had already reached the level of purple with a hint of black. It is at least at the level of more than 8,000 years. Shocking. Is this the spirit eye of the main body? Mental attack. It must be a mental attack, as expected of the outer court's top offensive spirit. I'm convinced. Voices of realization gradually began to ring out. Originally, everyone was still skeptical that Huo Yuhao, a freshman, could make such a big name. This is totally fine. Although the course of the battle was obscured by Wang Dong's butterfly god light, the spirit power and momentum that Huo Yuhao brought with him when he took action was enough to explain everything. Wang Dong, do you want to continue? Huo Yuhao looked at Wang Dong, whose face was pale. He was actually slightly surprised that Wang Dong did not faint on the spot. Under the control of Huo Yuhao's soul Douluo level mental power, the soul shock skill shines brightly. If used appropriately, it can silently cause a grand soul master level soul master to fall into coma for a period of time. As for the big noise afterwards, it was just a special effect deliberately created by Huo Yuhao, symbolically indicating that he was about to use a cool skill. Otherwise, just eliminating the 3 opponents in a mediocre way would feel a bit underwhelming. It's like a fake match. Wang Dong also calmed down at this moment, and she slowly said, "Alright, I give in. Is this your spirit eye martial spirit?" Seeing all his teammates being eliminated, Wang Dong lost all his will to fight. Originally, Wang Dong was thinking about showing off his Haoshan Sect's unique skills and letting Huo Yuhao see the powerful attack of the Haoshan hammer, but she didn't expect that now she couldn't even see the other party's second martial soul. This mysterious and unpredictable spiritual skill alone is hard to guard against. He'll be killed the second he shows his head. Who can withstand this? Huo Yuhao nodded. Yes, it is the spiritual attack of the spirit eye martial spirit. Wang Dong's second soul skill, the light of the butterfly god, is indeed very powerful. But no matter how powerful it is, the lifespan of this soul ring is only a little over 1,000 years. Moreover, Wang Dong's soul power was only level 24, while Huo Yuhao's soul power level was 11 levels higher than his. Not to mention that Huo Yuhao himself was a soul master of the ultimate attribute, and his soul power was far superior to that of soul masters of the same level. With all these factors combined, Huo Yuhao is actually very strong when playing this kind of baby cup. The referee announced, "Freshman Class 9, Huo Yuhao advances to the finals." At this moment, the teachers on the podium were also shocked by the scene. It was truly terrifying that he defeated Wang Dong and the other two so easily and instantly. Moreover, there is the bet between Mu Jin and Zhou Yi. Everyone looked at the two quietly. When everything was settled, Mu Jin felt relaxed all over. The anger that had been pent up for many years was finally released. It was so refreshing. She was unyielding. "Teacher Zhou, it seems that my student has won. I will gladly accept your 1,000-year soul bone." Zhou Yi clenched his fists at this moment, looking as cold as ice. Looking at the playful smile on Mu Jin's face, Zhou Yi's chest heaved violently and he snorted coldly. "I declare that Mu Jin wins this bet." Yan Shaos, who played the role of Captain King Tang, made a timely announcement. "Absolutely fair and beautiful, referee." Mu Jin smiled happily when she heard the result announced by Dean Yan Shaos. She reminded Zhou Yi loudly, "Teacher Zhou, don't forget, this is a 1,000-year-old soul bone." Zhou Yi didn't reply and left with a grim face. "Soul bones, she can certainly afford to lose. The most urgent task is to care about your students. There's still a third-place match in the afternoon. If it really affects the final result, it would be like picking up sesame seeds and losing watermelons. It's just a loss of a 1,000-year soul bone. At most it's just a loss of money, but if this affects the evaluation of the title of senior teacher, it would be a huge loss." Even though her husband is an 8th-level soul engineer in the soul guidance department, Zhou Yi's own professional title evaluation in the martial soul department must be done step by step according to the formal process with a 100% passing rate for freshman assessment. In the past, even if you get third place in the end, there is a high probability that you will pass the professional title evaluation for senior teacher. But if there are only the top 4, it's hard to say. Zhou Yi didn't want to lose both her wife and her troops. She also observed the match between Dai Huobin's team and the freshman class 4 Dai Huobin, who possessed the cultivation level of Soul Master, after being possessed by the White Tiger, broke into the formation of the other 3 great Soul Masters as if he was in an empty space. Obviously, although he did not achieve victory as quickly as Huo Yuhao, He was also sure of victory compared with these soul masters. Wang Dong's current soul power level is low, but if we perform normally and get third place, it will not be a problem at all. Wang Dong and the other two were not seriously injured. After being treated by the soul master, they quickly recovered and comforted and encouraged each other. Bai Yan was the first to sigh. I really lost, Xiao. Xiao cheered up and encouraged, although we have already stopped in the semifinals, don't forget that only the top 3 will receive rewards. Keep working hard this afternoon and get third place. Is that a problem, squad leader? Of course, I will help. Hearing this, Wang Dong became proud. If he can't beat Huo Yuhao, can he beat others? Moreover, none of the team in Class 4 has a soul master, so they must be defeated. Xiao looked at Wang Dong with a hint of ridicule. Captain Wang, you were full of confidence before the fight with Huo Yuhao. We even discussed tactics, but we still ended up in a complete defeat. Well, that's because Huo Yuhao's soul power level is too high, and his moves are so abnormal that it's hard to defend against. When we reach the level of soul master, the situation will definitely be different. At least we won't lose so miserably. The monitor is right. The 3 of them declared defeat while walking towards the exit of the assessment area. However, as soon as they walked out, they saw Zhou Yi with a very gloomy face waiting for them. You 3, come with me. Seeing the 3 people coming out, Zhou Yi snorted coldly and turned away. Wang Dong and the other 2 felt a chill on their backs at the same time and exchanged eye contact with each other. Bai Yan, no, I'm already in the semifinals and I'm still being scolded? Xiao, Teacher Zhou, don't you really think we can win the championship? Wang Dong, what the hell? What do you mean by flirting with each other? After hesitating for a while, the 3 of them reluctantly followed Zhou Yi. End of this chapter. Chapter 103. Jin Duoluo's regret. This time, Zhou Yi took the 3 little ones directly back to her office. As the head teacher of a class of freshmen, her office is also located on the north side of the dormitory area, in the teacher's office area behind the black and purple external school senior teaching buildings. The office is on the first floor, and she is the only one working there. Following Zhou Yi into the office, Wang Dong and the other 2 couldn't help but be surprised. I never expected that Teacher Zhou, who has a cold personality and a strict style, has a very elegant and even girl in office. Despite his age, the walls of the entire office are painted light pink, the tables are made of a special light red wood, there are bright red guest sofas and some other furnishings, and there is also a lounge at the innermost part of the office. It has to be said that Shrek Academy treats teachers very well. Even the head teacher of the freshman class can have his or her own independent office. Wang Dong closed the door carefully. Zhou Yi was already sitting on the big red sofa, with her arms folded across her chest. A cold voice rang out, you guys look happy about losing to the freshman class 9. The 3 of them said in unison, I'm sorry, Mr. Zhou, we were wrong. Admit defeat, bow, and apologize, all 3 in one go. It's really a private morsels of red bean paste. Over the past 3 months, they have become familiar with Zhou Yi's temper. There is absolutely no benefit in resisting her, and it will only anger Mrs. Zhou even more. No matter whether you are wrong or not, admit your mistake first. The better your attitude towards admitting mistakes, the smaller the punishment you will receive. Zhou Yi's face was solemn, and he raised his eyebrows. Just one wrong sentence, and it's over? Do you know what's wrong? Wang Dong took the lead, and as the team leader, she led by example. Because we didn't prepare for the opponent's mental attack, we were caught off guard and lost the game. If I had been prepared, maybe I could have lost more gracefully. The second half of the sentence is Wang Dong's inner complaints. Mental attack, tell me about it. Bai Yan carefully recalled the situation at that time and slowly said, at the moment when the squad leader used the light of the butterfly god, I felt like a big hammer hit my head directly, and then I knew nothing. Xiao nodded, it was almost the same for me. I felt like my head was pierced by countless steel needles, and then I passed out. At the moment when my butterfly god light was defeated, I seemed to see a glimmer of purple gold light, and then my head was hit. I had to use my soul power to resist Huo Yuhao's soul power oppression. Wang Dong explained the reason for his surrender. I saw that Xiao and Bai Yan were both eliminated and had no chance of winning, so I just admitted defeat. I still need to save my strength for the third place match this afternoon. After Wang Dong and the other 2 explained, Zhou Yi finally realized the key to victory or defeat. It turns out to be a spiritual soul skill. What a great original martial soul and spiritual eyes, hidden so deeply. When Zhou Yi was watching the game on the high platform, although he could see the situation of the game clearly, He could not see the specific details, especially after Wang Dong used the light of the butterfly god. The venue is covered by golden light. Zhou Yi could only sense an astonishing aura from afar. And then saw Wang Dong and the other two lose the game. She thought that the three men were frightened by Huo Yuhao's soul master aura and were able to defeat him without fighting. How could a student trained by Zhou Yi be so disgraced? Therefore, Zhou Yi planned to give the three of them a lecture and criticize them to temper their temper. Didn't expect this, but now that we are here, after a round of criticism, Zhou Yi concluded, if you lose, but you have to learn from your experience. You have passed the freshman assessment, and you will definitely compete with other freshmen again in the future. Do you know what you lack the most right now? It's soul power. The three of them spoke at the same time. After the failure, Wang Dong and the other two also made some summaries. They discovered that the gap between a soul master and a great soul master was too huge among soul masters. The influence of soul power is particularly important apart from anything else. As long as they can reach the three-ring soul master level, a new Millennium Soul Ring alone will be enough to make a qualitative leap in the combat effectiveness of the three of them. You have been paying attention in class. There is a match this afternoon. Don't say you can't beat the freshman class 4 who are also great soul masters. Win them firmly. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Got it? I'll try my best not to delay and regret it. Well, I'll do my best. Okay, watch me perform. Zhou Yi waved her hand to send the guests away. Okay, you guys go back and rest first. Goodbye, teacher. 3. Wang Dong and the other two escaped quickly. Wei Lun, who do you think will win in the final this afternoon? Yan Xiaos asked with a smile. Yan Xiaos was still very relieved about Du Weilin. As the Dean of Studies, Du Weilin had a unique vision and was fair and just. He made extremely important contributions to cultivating a large number of outstanding talents for Shrek Academy. After listening to Du Weilin's report, I combined it with what I saw and heard. Yan Xiaos could conclude on the spot that this class of freshmen had the best initial talent since Shrek was founded. Among this year's freshmen, there is not only the domineering and powerful Huo Yuhao, but also a large number of geniuses. There were 4 Soul Master freshmen, which was rare in previous sessions, and there were also several very good seedlings among the great Soul Masters, especially Wang Dong and Xiao Xiao, who both had twin martial souls like Huo Yuhao and had great potential for development. You know, Shrek Academy is the best academy in the world. Apart from this year's freshmen, there are only 2 students with twin martial spirits. Moreover, the 2 of them have already been inner court disciples, and both are ranked among the top 10 in the inner court. Du Weilin said without hesitation, I know, it must be Huo Yuhao. Although he is alone, he is so strong that it is outrageous. He entered the finals without even using his spirit skills. Naturally, I believe in him. As the first general under Yan Xiaos while completing his job, Du Weilin naturally tried to figure out what his superiors meant. The privileges that Huo Yuhao enjoyed here alone were enough to prove how much Dean Yan valued him. Combined with Huo Yuhao's overwhelming performance in the past few matches, although Du Weilin didn't know much about his martial soul and soul skills, it was enough for him to make a judgment. Yan Xiaos nodded, his gaze lingering on Dai Huolbin and Zulu in the venue. I hope the martial soul fusion skills of you 2 little ones can put more pressure on Yuhao. At this moment, a powerful voice suddenly sounded. Old Yan, I heard that the performance of this year's freshman is unexpectedly good. Yan Xiaos didn't look back, and the smile on his face froze instantly. Jin Duado, why are you here too? The man who came was a sturdy man in his 50s. There was not a single wrinkle on his face, but he had white hair as white as steel needles, and he looked a little vicissitudes of life. He was tall and strong, with solid muscles, as if he was carved out of granite. He was 2 meters 2, with broad shoulders and back, and solid muscles. His broad skin reflected a metallic luster under the sun, and he also had a strong metallic smell. The person following him was Zhou Yi's husband, the 8th level soul instructor Fan Yu. Yan Xiaos did not turn around, but Du Weilin had already turned around. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes, and then he hurriedly bowed. Hello, Vice President Jin. What brings you here, Vice? Dean Jin Duado, who always has a kind face and smiles, is the Vice Dean in charge of the daily affairs of the Soul Guidance Department. He has a lofty status second only to the Dean in the Soul Guidance Department. Jin Duado laughed and said, I'm just passing by. I just came to see how the new students are doing. Lao Yan, you're still as stingy as ever. Yan Xiaos turned around and said with a smile, that's settled, just take a look, don't think about these new students, they are all from our Wuhan department. Jin Duoluo walked over to Yan Xiao's and sat down. What do you mean by people from the Wuhan department? They are just freshmen and haven't really chosen a department yet. Besides, they will finally decide which department to specialize in when they are in their third year. Weilin had already stepped aside and greeted Fan Yu, and the two of them found a place to sit behind the two deans and vice dean. In fact, Jin Duoluo really just came to take a look at this moment. He was very depressed and extremely regretful ever since the last Poseidon Pavilion meeting. Jin Duoluo has been paying close attention to Huo Yuhao's performance and progress in his soul power. He has always been jealous of this student who possesses a spiritual martial soul. However, because Huo Yuhao's second martial soul was ultimate ice, Mr. Mew specifically wanted someone, and Jin Duoluo could only pass by. It was not until this morning that he learned from Fan Yu about a person with a spiritual spirit body spirit. And it turned out to be Huo Yuhao. It's too late to regret now. I don't even have the right to regret the spirit attribute body martial soul. The soul master, who is less than 12 years old, even has twin martial souls. Whether it is talent, physical strength, or martial soul, it perfectly matches the needs of their plan. Extreme single soldier plan. If he had known earlier, he should have swallowed his pride and fought for it. I wonder if Huo Yuhao, the little guy who made an exception and entered the inner courtyard, would be interested in soul guides. Jin Duoluo secretly glanced at Yan Xiao's. There is definitely no hope if we use conventional means now, but if you can cater to his interests, it wouldn't be excessive at all to also learn the skill of a soul guide, right? You know, a soul master can't practice forever. Meridians have a certain upper limit to their tolerance, especially when your soul power level is not high. It does not mean that you will be rewarded. If you keep practicing too much is as bad as too little. Even a soul master with high talent cannot practice all day long. After reaching a certain level, the more you force yourself to meditate, the worse the effect may be. For soul masters with excellent talents, their meridians are extremely unobstructed, and the speed at which the soul power is generated through their own cultivation is very fast. Maybe you only need to practice for 4 or 5 hours a day to reach saturation, and continuing to meditate and practice is basically useless. So what to do with the remaining time? Of course it is to learn, and this is also the significance of the establishment of Shrek Academy. Therefore, it is reasonable to learn a soul guide device as well. If Huo Yuhao knew what Jin Duoluo was thinking, he would only shake his head. Let's talk about learning soul guides later. After all, soul guides have not yet developed to the stage of fighting against powerful opponents, so they are not of much significance to Huo Yuhao. Besides, he is not in Sun and Moon, where he can just mindlessly cultivate his soul power. In Shrek, of course, Huo Yuhao was unaware of the intrigue going on in the stands in the assessment area. The final competition is about to begin. End of this chapter. Chapter 104, a reenactment of a bump. All the partitions on the assessment area were removed at noon, and the venue is larger than ever. The third place match has come to an end, and surprisingly, Wang Dong's team won and came in third. The much anticipated final is about to begin. At Yan Xiao's signal, Du Weilin came in to replace the referee and began to call the players to enter. The fact that Yan Xiao's, the Dean of Contra, personally served as the referee of this game shows how much importance he attaches to the final. Driven by his soul power, Du Weilin's not-so-loud voice was clearly heard by everyone present. I will be the referee of this match. I will take care of everything. You can give it your all and don't hold back. However, anyone who is rescued by me will be considered out. Do you understand? Clear. Looking at Dai Huolbin, Huo Yuhao had a calm expression. Although he was facing the enemy in the original novel, his mood was not as heavy as he had imagined. Instead, he felt like laughing, especially the tasks refreshed by the opponent. Dai Huolbin relationship, acquaintance, achievement, mission, reforge the glory of the Nether White Tiger. The classic Swole when we've already reached the finals. Doesn't this guy have any self-awareness? You'll be honest soon. As for the account between himself and the people in the Duke of White Tiger's mansion, Huo Yuhao planned to take his time to figure it out. After all, he has the blood of the White Tiger flowing in his body, and it cannot be wasted. Let's just collect some interest today. Although Huo Yuhao had never considered Dai Huolbin as his competitor, it did not prevent him from completely tearing apart the other party's pride. It is also quite interesting to see Dai Huolbin, who claims to be a genius, have his faith broken. Dai Huolbin looked at Huo Yuhao, who didn't care, and a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. This guy Huo Yuhao doesn't take me seriously at all. Although Dai Huolbin was extremely angry, he did not lose his mind. Duke Beihu is the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies of the Xingluo Empire, and Dai Huolbin's talent is the best among Duke Beihu's sons. He is highly valued by Duke Beihu and is basically trained as the future heir. So when he was young, Dai Huolbin also learned how to participate in wars and how to kill enemies. When he was only 5 years old, he killed a little soul beast with his own hands. This also cultivated Dai Huobin's decisive and ruthless character since childhood. Because of his distinguished background and outstanding talent, he always looked down upon his peers, and was even more arrogant than Wang Dong. Dai Huobin was specially recruited to Shrek Academy with a cultivation level of Soul Master. He originally thought that his talent surpassed Ai Yuhang and that he would definitely be the leader among the freshmen and one of the best talents in Shrek in the past 100 years. As a result, Dai Huobin never expected that he would face a formidable enemy on the first day of school. It was the first time he felt frustrated that day in the fighting arena. Huo Yuhao fought against Su Sanqi, and Huo Yuhao defeated Su Sanqi with 3 punches. At that time, he believed that he was definitely not Huo Yuhao's opponent, and even gave up the title of the strongest freshman. Su Sanqi: "No, little brother, I was able to withstand several punches at that time. How come everyone in the hospital is spreading rumors about this? Now, a 3-person team battle is imminent." Even though Huo Yuhao's soul power level has reached the Soul Master level and his strength has been further improved, Dai Huobin believes that he is not without a chance of winning. He is the son of Duke White Tiger. As the legitimate son of the Duke of White Tiger, although Dai Huobin is not the eldest son, he has received the best education and top-level training since childhood, and he has not been careless in his cultivation. He was able to achieve the Soul Master level of cultivation at the young age of 12, but it was not achieved easily. Moreover, he is a tool man with martial soul fusion skills. Zulu. So, it's up to you, Netherworld White Tiger. In the past, his ancestor Daimube could rely on the Nether White Tiger to fight against higher levels. Now, it would be no problem for him to fight against a Soul Master of the same level. Thinking of this, Dai Huobin subconsciously tightened his right hand that was holding Zulu's hand, causing Zulu to exclaim with a hint of dissatisfaction. At this time, Dai Huobin and Zulu were ready to use their spirit fusion skills at any time. Fearing that Huo Yuhao on the opposite side would not give them a chance, his class teacher had told Dai Huobin in advance Huo Yuhao's 3rd soul skill is suspected to be teleportation, so you must be careful to prevent it. Their teammate, the pink-haired girl Kuieji, looked much more casual. Although she was young, her big pink eyes were full of charm. She smiled and nodded at Huo Yuhao, even blinking. In her opinion, the outcome of the 2 sides was not as important as knowing Huo Yuhao. Compared with the already married Dai Huobin, the wild genius was more likely to arouse Kuieji's interest. Both parties share the same name, Huo Yuhao, Dai Huobin, Zhu Lu. Kuieji, Du. Whelan stretched his arms out to both sides and said, "Everyone go to the edge of the field, and you can only launch the attack after I announce the start." There was a fair slight flashing in Dai Huobin's eyes, and there was a hint of murderous intent emanating from him. Huo Yuhao remained calm from beginning to end, and his aura of majesty, without even getting angry, suppressed the 3 opponents in all directions. The teachers watching the game on the podium had now completely quieted down. Even the 2 deans, Yan Xiaoz and Jin Duoluo, focused their attention on the competition venue. Soon, both sides reached the edge of the field. The complete assessment area was huge. At this time, in their eyes, the other party had become very small as Du Whelan raised his right hand and then suddenly dropped it. A word of start was clearly heard by all the participating students from both sides. Dai Huobin and Zulu sprinted side by side, shouting as they ran, "White Tiger, possessed me!" As a strong pale light burst out, Dai Huobin stretched out his arms, straightened his chest, his bones crackled, and his muscles suddenly expanded, propping up his clothes. His head of golden hair instantly turned black and white, with white accounting for the majority and a few strands of black hair standing out. 4 faint lines appeared on his forehead, 3 horizontal and 1 vertical, forming the Chinese character. His hands were twice as big as before, with white hair covering his entire palms. As his 10 fingers flicked, dagger-like claws kept extending and retracting from his palms. Each claw was like a blade, 8 inches long, and flashed a cold light. Dai Huobin leaned forward slowly, his eyes all turned into deep blue, giving people the feeling that he was a killing machine. Under his feet, 2 yellow and 1 purple soul rings rose up one after another, and as the soul rings circulated, the surging soul power formed a wave-like pressure and rushed out. But this pressure dissipated the moment it touched Huo Yuhao. The changes in Huo Yuhao's body after using his spiritual eyes were not as obvious as those of Dai Huobin, but his purple gold eyes, combined with the obscure and complex lines around his pupils, revealed a noble and extraordinary temperament that was intimidating, especially the 3 soul rings that rose up, 1 yellow and 2 purple, which made Dai Huobin and the other 2 pause. and the pressure was instantly maxed out. Douluo and Qiaji also underwent different changes after being possessed by their martial spirits. The colors of Douluo's heterochromatic eyes became deeper, her ears stood up, her body became more slender and powerful, and each of her fingers had a sharp blade popping out. She was not as fierce as Douluo, but had a kind of illusory lightness. Douluo followed Douluo closely, and as her figure flashed, a series of phantoms appeared around her. After Qiaji released her martial spirit, she seemed to have aged 3 or 4 years, full of youthfulness. Her long pink hair became longer, and appeared in big waves, flying down like a pink waterfall. Her eyes were clear and bright, and her stunning face could not help but make people lose their minds when she smiled. The most peculiar thing is that there are 2 long tails behind Qiaji. Each tail is about 1 meter long. The thick pink hair is very moist under the afternoon sun, making people want to touch it. Her martial soul is also considered a high-level existence among beast martial souls, but it is quite special, named Nine-Tailed Fox. With each additional soul ring, the fox will have 1 more tail, and its strength will become stronger in this short period of time. The distance between the 2 sides was close to 50 meters. Qiaji immediately found Huo Yuhao, smiled sweetly at him, and stared at him with her pink eyes. The first soul skill, charm. The soul ring flashed quietly, but the light was not very obvious and might even be overlooked if one did not pay close attention. Huo Yuhao's purple gold eyes flashed, and he was not moved at all. On the contrary, Qiaji, who had been using spirit skills on Huo Yuhao before, suddenly changed color on her beautiful face. She groaned, and in a second, blood gushed out of her mouth and nose, and she fell to the ground powerlessly. Qiaji, you can't get up again. He was then taken over by Duels, who appeared in an instant and was officially eliminated. Huo Yuhao, why do I feel like someone is trying to scam me? Fortunately, the opponent didn't have 3 pigeons to use hidden weapons to explode. Otherwise, he could only let the mandarin ducks live together and fly away. There was an instant exclamation on the field in the eyes of everyone. It was outrageous that Huo Yuhao eliminated Qiaji with just a glance. Douluo's face changed drastically when he came back to his senses. What about teammates? This is gone. Question mark. He looked at Douluo in fear, and the only response he got was a determined look. Yes, they also have soul fusion skills. The reason why Douluo and the others did not use the martial soul fusion technique at the beginning was because the distance at the beginning was too far. They were also afraid that Huo Yuhao would avoid fighting. After all, the soul power levels of the 2 were not high, and it was difficult to sustain the activation of the martial soul fusion technique for a long time. And now, a distance of just 50 meters is enough. Douluo roared like a tiger, his whole body swelled up again, and white hair mixed with black tiger stripes gushed out of his body crazily. Douluo bit her teeth lightly. Her whole body was covered with a faint black light, her body was floating, and she seemed to be transparent. Then she opened her arms and pounced towards Douluo. At this moment, they only had each other in their eyes. Douluo's pupils actually merged into one, but the coldness in his eyes did not change. Instead, Douluo's eyes became as gentle as water, as if they wanted to melt him. The auras of the white tiger and the nether spirit cat completely merged at this moment. Strong fluctuations of soul power erupted from their merged bodies like a blowout. The black and white light completely merged into one in the spreading golden halo. Huo Yuhao watched the fusion of the 2 calmly, with no intention of stopping it. Originally, he thought he could have a fight with Douluo. I didn't expect the other party to be so cowardly and directly use the soul fusion technique. Well, today I will completely crush the pride in your heart. End of this chapter. Chapter 105, Nether White Tiger? Little Hakimi Jinduado in the stands frowned slightly. It can't be such a coincidence. Is this a martial soul fusion technique? I remember that the Zhu family and the Dai family only have 1 or 2 pairs of fusions in each generation. How old is this kid? Does the Duke of White Tiger intend to let him inherit the title? The relationship between the White Tiger Duke's lineage and the Zhu family, the top noble family of the Xingluo Empire, is almost public knowledge in the Soul Master world. The stable inherited martial soul fusion skill between them, the Nether White Tiger, is well known. Martial soul fusion skills are not 1 + 1 = 2. Even 2 identical martial souls may not be able to possess martial soul fusion skills. This requires complementarity and perfect matching. When the martial soul fusion technique is produced, the power reflects an existence that transcends the level of the Soul Master itself. The correct name of the White Tiger Duke's martial spirit should be the Evil-Eyed White Tiger, and its biggest feature is the double pupils. The Evil-Eyed White Tiger and the Zhu family's Netherworld Spirit Cat martial spirit have a high probability of being compatible with martial spirit fusion skills. Since ancient times, The lineage of the White Tiger Duke has maintained a close relationship with the Zhou family. Although the two families no longer have the glory they once had, their complex and huge forces still play an important role in the Xingluo Empire, and the marriages of all generations are also the best bond and bridge between the Duke's mansion and the Zhou family. Of course, not every pair of evil-eyed white tigers and nether spirit cats can possess martial soul fusion skills, but in every generation, there will almost always be at least one pair, or even two pairs. Being able to successfully marry into the Zhou family is also one of the most important prerequisites for inheriting the position of Duke White Tiger. Dai Huolbin is the only legitimate son of his generation whose martial spirit is compatible with the daughter of the Zhou family. Yan Xiaos glanced at Jin Duoluo and said with a smile, "Why is that impossible? A three-ring master at the age of less than 12, this achievement has already surpassed the ancestor of the Dai family, the leader of the Shrek Seven Devils." Standing at the entrance of the academy, Jin Duoluo asked in confusion, "Aren't you worried? Huo Yuhao is only at the soul master level right now. Even if he is at the ultimate ice level, he may not be able to handle this martial soul fusion technique." Hearing Jin Duoluo's words, Yan Xiao's smile widened. "Just keep watching and you'll know. Instead of worrying about Huo Yuhao, we should worry about his opponent." Moreover, Yan Xiao specially asked Du Weilan to be the referee, so what could happen? There was nothing to worry about in the stands. The teachers all held their breath. They all knew that the climax of the final had arrived. The freshmen at the edge of the venue were even more confused and watched the battle that was about to break out intently. Next, how will Huo Yuhao respond? Is it true that the Netherworld White Tiger, with such a formidable momentum, can Soul Master resist it? Bibai, Wang Dong, do you think Yuhao can win? Tang, you had some concerns. Bei frowned slightly. It's hard to say. If we fight head-on, there's not much hope. If it were me, I would probably use Ghost Shadow to maneuver around. As long as I can delay the fusion of my martial souls, I can win. We will win, no matter what. I believe in Yuhao, although she also had concerns. Wang Dong believed in Huo Yuhao. She had blind confidence in Huo Yuhao's strength. She thought that a mere martial soul fusion technique would not be a problem for him. Even though she and Huo Yuhao had two highly compatible soul fusion skills, Huo Yuhao didn't care much about it. In his words, the martial soul fusion technique is ultimately an external force. Only the soul power and unique skills that you have cultivated through thousands of trials and tribulations are your true strength. Even some old students felt the pressure of the Netherworld White Tiger's soul power and took a deep breath. If they were honest, even if their soul power levels were higher than Dai Huobin's, they did not have the confidence that they could withstand a few moves from the Netherworld White Tiger on their own. Su Sanchi stared at Huo Yuhao intently. After 3 months of training, he had made progress beyond Bei and successfully reached level 40. He only needed an additional spirit ring to reach the soul sect level. The purpose of his coming to watch the game this time was to see how strong Huo Yuhao was in the spirit fighting competition between the two. Although he did not use the Black Tortoise Awakening, Su Sanchi could also sense that Huo Yuhao did not use his full strength. Just that unreasonable physical fitness alone makes him invincible in his class, but that extreme coldness is definitely not from the current spirit. Martial spirit. Could it be twin martial souls? Maybe. You will see it soon. The referee Du Weilan in the air had sweat in his palms. He wondered why Dean Yan specifically asked him to be the referee. And it turned out to be because of the Nether White Tiger's fusion technique. Only then did he realize that he might have underestimated the strength of Dai Huolbin and his threesome. That is an unreasonable martial soul fusion technique. No matter how powerful Yuhao was, he was just a freshman with only soul master level cultivation. If he faced the Netherworld White Tiger, which was famous for its offensive abilities, the outcome would be hard to predict. At this moment, Du Weilan was extremely alert, ready to attack at any time, ready to stop the game at any time. As the martial soul fusion technique was activated, Dai Huolbin and Zulu's bodies disappeared instantly, and only a huge white tiger remained in the assessment area. The white tiger was over 8 meters long and over 2 meters tall. Its entire body was transparent, with white fur and black stripes, and purple eyes. It stared at Huo Yuhao coldly. Huo Yuhao is certainly not a wooden man with a thought. He used his terrifying soul power to oppress his opponent. Everyone was surprised to find that the Nether White Tiger's momentum was actually lower. Dai Huolbin was leading the Netherworld White Tiger, feeling the mental oppression, and couldn't help but let out a tiger roar afterwards. The huge body of the Netherworld White Tiger squatted slightly, and the next moment, it had created a transparent ripple and pounced towards Huo Yuhao at a terrifying speed. When the huge white tiger dodged and pounced, it raised its head proudly. The arrogance of looking down at the world fully demonstrated its domination of the world, and the king of beasts Huo Yuhao did not dodge or evade netherworld white tiger, just little Hakimi. Huo Yuhao's eyes shone with a golden light, and he clenched his fist with a purple gold glow, and threw a punch in a simple and unpretentious manner. A solid and domineering will emerged. The mental pressure actually affected the people around him. Boom! The dull sound made everyone's heart tremble, and they came to their senses under the ferocious attack of the netherworld white tiger. Huo Yuhao remained unmoved. The king of beasts, who had been so majestic before, was now like a kitten that had its neck grabbed, and its huge body shattered in an instant. At the same time, Dai Hulbin and Zulu fell to the ground together. The martial soul fusion technique was broken and Zulu fainted immediately under Huo Yuhao's special care. The severe pain made Dai Hulbin groan, and his body spasmed uncontrollably. Dai Hulbin barely raised his head and in a trance saw Huo Yuhao with an indifferent expression. His heart trembled when he met the other party's cold gaze. Although he was extremely unwilling at this moment, he no longer had the slightest desire to fight. He just wanted to stay away from Huo Yuhao and had no intention of fighting him again. It's already a complete loss, total loss. Dai Hulbin closed his eyes, no longer trying to hold on, and simply passed out. The winner has been decided. Huo Yuhao has won the championship. Du Weiland's voice rang out in time. Originally, he planned to block the attacks of Huo Yuhao and the netherworld white tiger the moment they came into contact, using himself to block the attacks while enduring attacks from both sides. Use his true body as a judge to determine the strength of the attacks of both sides, and thus distinguish the winner. However, Huo Yuhao's punch accidentally disturbed Du Weiland's thoughts. After he came to his senses, this was all he saw. After checking the injuries of Dai Hulbin and the other man, Du Weiland secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Huo Yuhao showed mercy, and the two men did not seem to be seriously injured. While announcing the final winner, he waved his hand to signal the healing teacher to come on stage. In the stands, Yan Shaos couldn't calm down for a long time. Could this kind of soul skill be the one that can dominate the world? End of this chapter. Chapter 106, End of Assessment in Champion. It's really a terrifying life. Yan Shaos's face revealed an expression of shock that was difficult to conceal at that moment. Just now, Huo Yuhao's mental power, soul power and soul skills were integrated into one, which resulted in this perfect attack. It looked like just a simple and plain punch, but Yan Shaos, who had reached the level of Super Douluo, could clearly see that the punch was soul-stirring. Huo Yuhao's attack has already subtly touched upon the spiritual world. This reminded Yan Shaos of his teacher's unique skill, dominating the world. Old Mu combined mental power and physical attacks to create his own fighting skill called King of the World. It is not a soul skill, but it is better than a soul skill, and can be applied to any soul skill. However, because Moon is not a spiritual soul master, he can only combine mental power into physical attacks. This fighting skill is still based on physical attacks. Junlin Xiang's powerful physical and mental ability. Once the opponent is defeated, then the opponent's confidence will also be defeated at the same time. Whenever we face each other again, we will always feel like we can't compete with the one who uses the rule of the world as Mu Lao's direct disciple. Even Yan Shaos has not completely learned how to rule the world, which shows how difficult it is. After recovering from the shock, Yan Shaos calmed himself down. He was the one who lost his composure. In name, Huo Yuhao was his junior fellow apprentice and Mu Lao's last disciple. But in reality, his teacher had never formally taught him. Although Huo Yuhao's punch looked like he was dominating the world, but if you look closely, you can find that although Huo Yuhao's attack combines mental power and soul power, it has not reached the level of artistic conception. It's just a side effect of the mental power being too strong. A prototype of my own fighting skills has already been formed. Being able to figure out this path and research it to this level at the age of 12 is truly a gift. Moreover, according to Yan Shaos's rough estimation, Huo Yuhao's current spiritual power level has at least reached the level of a 7-ring soul saint. Or even higher. It's a bit exaggerated. Huo Yuhao has just entered the soul master realm, but his progress in mental power has far surpassed those owners of top-notch spiritual attribute martial spirits. Is this the strength of the original martial soul? Yan Shaos suddenly realized that he had underestimated this martial soul named Ling Mao. The third soul skill's teleportation alone is enough to prove its value. In other words, everyone in the Wuhan department pays too much attention to the ultimate ice. Only the old fellow Jin Duoluo has always been concerned about the martial soul with spiritual attributes. Yan Shaos glanced at Jin Duoluo and thought to himself, old Jin, no matter how smart you are, you have to drink my foot-washing water. Ha ha ha. What kind of individual soldier plan do you want to come up with? Forget it, Huo Yuhao's talent in martial arts was so good that he couldn't waste it on learning soul guides. At most, he only needed to know how to use common soul guides, which was completely sufficient. Jin Duoduo's eyes almost popped out. This level of mental power. Such a strong physical fitness. This spirit eye martial soul is really in line with this soul guide. It is really a perfect candidate. It turns out that I had missed such a perfect gem. Jin Duoduo looked depressed, although he really wanted to lure Huo Yuhao in. However, even the dean of the soul guidance department, Xian Liner, couldn't do it. It has to be admitted that the moment Huo Yuhao revealed his twin martial souls in ultimate ice, the soul guidance department had already lost the chance to compete. Moreover, as one of the candidates for the successor to the Sigurd Pavilion Master, Huo Yuhao would certainly be fully trained by the academy. It was unrealistic to ask him to focus on learning how to make and use soul guides. Although in recent years, the development of soul guides has been booming, but among the top group of strong ones, the traditional soul masters with profound foundation are still more powerful. In Shrek, the martial spirit system has always been dominant. Many people even have a special prejudice against the soul guidance system. Hey, how can I make a good soul guide with this group of insects? The spectators finally came to their senses after Duelin's championship announcement. How can I be such a big netherworld white tiger? Is this the end? Killed in one punch? The students opened their mouths wide and were confused. The strong are respected and the weak are humbled. This is the universal principle among soul masters, and also the universal principle of Douluo continent. After a brief pause, the entire examination area erupted in deafening cheers. Champion! Champion! The students cheered one by one as expected. He is the strongest freshman. Well-deserved champion. Huo Yuhao used his strength to demonstrate what it means to be truly invincible. This thought was like a storm, sweeping across the entire place in an instant. This scene of making a small investment to gain a big return was so incredible that the teachers gradually reacted and were all stunned. It was really shocking that a three-ringed soul master could single-handedly kill another soul master and another great soul master using their soul fusion skills. Especially Zhou Yi. Originally, she was still feeling happy that Wang Dong's team had won the third place. Later, the appearance of the nether white tiger further intensified her excitement. Did Mu Jin really think that the championship was in her class's pocket? They just opened the champagne in the middle of the game with such a powerful martial soul fusion technique. She wanted to see how Huo Yuhao would struggle. However, I finally saw this scene. The smile on Zhou Yi's face gradually froze. What is the nether white tiger? It's just a little cat. He couldn't even withstand one attack from Huo Yuhao. He is truly a waste. But the smile doesn't disappear. It just shifts. Seeing Zhou Yi's expression change, Mu Jin's smile widened. Mu Jin deliberately spoke sarcastically to Zhou Yi. To the other teachers who were congratulating him, he replied, No, it's all thanks to Yuhao that her class was able to win the championship. Bei's face was filled with shock. He had originally thought that he was a master, but he had not expected that today he would be taught a good lesson by two freshmen, Huo Yuhao and Dai Huolbin, both freshmen who had just entered school, had already reached the soul master level. Bei himself was still at level 39, immersed in the title of the Gemini of the Outer Courtyard, and had relaxed his training and become lazy. There is nothing to dispute about the title of the best offensive department in the Outer Courtyard. Only by raising the level of one's soul power can one truly reveal the strength of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. Su Sanchi was also extremely shocked and couldn't help but sigh. Oh my god, he's so powerful? Damn, it's only been 3 months since we last saw each other, and Huo Yuhao has improved so much? Is he open? The final champion is the freshman team composed of Huo Yuhao alone. With his amazing performance, he won the final victory of this freshman assessment finals and is the well-deserved final champion. Du Whelan reiterated who won the championship and continued, Okay, that's it. The freshman assessment is officially over. A freshman meeting will be held tomorrow morning to award prizes to the top 3 teams, and the first-year students will be divided into classes. After saying this, Du Whelan turned around and quickly left the assessment area. Dai Huolbin and Zulu, who fainted on the field, were also taken to the infirmary for treatment by several teachers from the Department of Therapy. Huo Yuhao looked at the enthusiastic students surrounding the assessment area, and he also flashed and disappeared on the spot. Achievement triggered. Achieved. Dai Huolbin's achievement recast the glory of the netherworld white tiger, and received Jinli Gu as a reward. Jinli Gu. Consuming the Gu worm once can increase the soul master's strength by 1 Jin. Evaluation. This time, he is indeed famous. The classes are going to be divided now. There are more people who use this as a tool to gain achievements. Whether the rewarded poisonous insects are useful is another matter. The main point is the sense of collection and cultivation. End of this chapter. Chapter 107 Unexpected Reward. The results of the freshman assessment finals quickly spread throughout the college. When it was evening, Tang Yu and Bei Bei found a restaurant with a good reputation to celebrate Wang Dong and his two companions winning third place. Wang Dong, are you saying that Bai Yan wants to join our Tang sect? After having a good meal and a good drink, Tang Yu also thought about the important matters. Wang Dong nodded and said, yes, senior sister Xiaoya. In fact, Bai Yan's martial spirit has a very close relationship with the Tang sect. After thinking for a moment, Tang Yu did remember something she had forgotten. Spine-tailed swift. Okay, Bai Yan, this sect master will grant you permission to join the Tang sect. Xiao, how about it? Are you interested, Xiao? Xiao blinked and murmured, Tang sect, Tang. Yu said, yes, it is the Tang sect. We in the Tang sect don't have any particularly good treatment, but there is one thing, we will never keep our possessions to ourselves. For our own people, all the unique skills of the Tang sect are open to you to practice, Xiao. Xiao smiled and said, okay, I'll join too. I don't have a sect anyway. Sister Tangya, I want to learn Wang Dong's footwork, Tang. Yu nodded generously and said, no problem, I'll teach you later. Although she appears carefree on the surface, she is actually very happy at this moment. Putting aside the relationship between Bai Yan and the Tang sect, Xiao's potential is no worse than Wang Dong's. They have twin martial spirits. I didn't expect that she would agree to it so easily. It's a pity that Huo Yuhao has never been interested in the Tang sect. After Tang Yu hit a wall with him many times, she stopped pestering him anyway. Even if Yuhao didn't join her Tang sect, she could still go there and eat the grilled fish openly. Rounding it off, isn't it equivalent to Huo Yuhao joining the Tang sect? At this point, the Tang sect has grown from 3 people to 5 people, and they are all relatively young, so it finally has a decent size. Afterwards, the 5 of them started chatting about soul guides. Bei Bei asked, the Tang sect is famous for its hidden weapons. It was only because of the emergence of soul guides that hidden weapons gradually withdrew from the stage of history. This is also an important reason for the decline of our Tang sect. For the rise of the Tang sect, only by combining hidden weapons with soul guides can we regain our glory. What do you think of soul guides? After you officially become a first-year student, you can choose to take soul guides. Xiao and Wang Dong both refused. If I were to research and make soul guides, I might not have enough time to practice. Bei Bei and Tang Gai both smiled and expressed their understanding. Tang Yu said helplessly, you are indeed outstanding students of the spirit department. This is a typical thought of students of the spirit department. Not to mention you, even Bei Bei and I also feel that we don't have enough time to practice. Tang sect will not restrict your cultivation path. I just asked you if you are interested. You all have excellent talents, and it is not good to be distracted. We can only wait until Tang sect recruits some disciples who specialize in practicing soul guides in the future. At this time, Bai Yan suddenly said, Senior Xiaoya, if you have talent in this area, I would like to give it a try. Tang Yu was also overjoyed about this. Bei Bei reminded, Junior sister, you should also manage your training time well. Your martial spirit still has great potential. Don't focus too much on training soul guides. Soul power and soul rings are the foundation of our soul masters. Even some powerful soul guides require sufficient soul power to perform. Yes, big brother, Bai Yan hurriedly agreed. She had her own plans in mind. Although she was lucky enough to absorb a soul skill that had both attack and speed, her martial soul ultimately focused on speed. In terms of attack, she could indeed use a soul guide to make up for her shortcomings. The next morning, all freshmen who passed the freshman assessment gathered at Shrek Square, waiting for the upcoming class. Division Du Whelan, director of the Wuhan department's teaching department, came to the front of the students with a dozen teachers. Du Whelan held a folder in his hand, glanced at the group of young students with a smile, and said, the freshman assessment elimination round has ended, and the top 3 have been decided. Now I will make a formal announcement and announce the rewards they will receive. The 3rd place in the freshman assessment is Wang Dong's team. The team members are Wang Dong, Xiao, and Bai Yan. Step out, all. The first-year students applauded. Led by Wang Dong, the 3 of them walked out together, looking slightly excited, and came in front of Du Whelan. 2nd place, Dai Huoban's team. Team members are Dai Huoban, Zulu, and Kuieji. Step out, Applause rang out again, and under the leadership of Dai Hulbin, the three walked out together, but Dai Hulbin and Zulu looked obviously depressed, especially Dai Hulbin, who looked pale and had not recovered at all from the mental attack yesterday. Kuieji, on the other hand, had recovered the fastest among the three, and her face was a little rosy because of happiness. Du Whelan paused for a moment before speaking in a slightly raised voice. Now, please give a warm round of applause to welcome the final champion of our freshman assessment. He is Huo Yuhao. Suddenly, the whole audience burst into warm cheers and applause. Huo Yuhao's name had long been known throughout the outer court, and he was already the undisputed uncrowned king. He was powerful, talented, and handsome, and he was an all-rounder, the dream couple of countless girls in the outer court. Seeing Huo Yuhao coming forward, Du Whelan looked at him with a smile and motioned for him to stand in the middle. Dai Hulbin and Zulu on the side looked at Huo Yuhao with fear that was difficult to conceal on their faces, and they had no intention of fighting anymore. As for Wang Dong, Zio, Bai Yan and Kuieji, they looked at Huo Yuhao with smiles on their faces and greeted him harmoniously. Du Whelan continued, "Okay, now I will announce the rewards for the top 3 teams in the freshman assessment. The top 3 teams will all receive a unified reward from the Academy. Everyone can make a request to the Academy when they need a spirit ring, and the Academy will assist them in obtaining a spirit ring that they can afford and is the most suitable for them." As soon as these words were spoken, the students present could not help but exclaim in surprise. This reward was equivalent to the Academy's promise that the next spirit ring of Huo Yuhao and the other 7 would definitely be an extreme spirit ring, and it would definitely have very compatible attributes. This was true for everyone, so this reward was indeed significant. Huo Yuhao didn't mind it, as he could make such a request to the Academy for every spirit ring he had, let alone the next one, whether it was the Dark Demon Evil God Tiger, the Evil Eye Tyrant, or even the Mirror Shadow Beast. Huo Yuhao said he could accept any of them. The question is whether Shrek can get it. Huo Yuhao felt it was difficult, but he could try. His requirements were not high. It would be enough for his 4th soul ring to last about 30,000 years. Then, Du Whelan announced an additional reward for Huo Yuhao. In view of the outstanding performance and undefeated record of the champion Huo Yuhao throughout the competition, the Academy has decided to give him a special reward. The Academy will keep this reward confidential. After the class division is over, Yuhao can go with me to receive it. There is also a special reward. All the freshmen were envious and really wanted to know what this unique reward was. Okay, the awards ceremony is over. You can return to your team. Du Whelan continued, "The quality of this year's freshman is better than before. I hope you will keep up the good work. God will reward hard work. No matter how talented you are, you won't get good results without hard work. Our Shrek Academy is the #1 Soul Master Academy on the continent. I hope you will graduate successfully and get excellent results." In view of the outstanding freshman students who emerged in this year's freshman competition, the Academy has specially approved some students to become core disciples of the outer courtyard. Now I will announce the list. Shrek Square was suddenly silent. The core disciples would not only appear in the top 3 teams. As long as they performed well, they would have a chance to be selected. Everyone hopes to be selected as a core disciple. Once selected as a core disciple of the outer courtyard, they will receive more resources and training from the Academy, which is equivalent to having 1 foot halfway into the inner courtyard of Shrek. Du Whelan opened the folder in his hand and read, "Based on the performance of the new students in the assessment, the Academy finally approved the core disciples, Huo Yuhao, Dai Hulbin, Zulu, Wang Dong, Zio, Ning Don, and Zihuanao." As soon as the words fell, some were happy while others were sad. But then, under the burning gazes of the students, Du Whelan continued, "In view of the fact that some freshmen, although lacking in talent and ability, have also performed well in the freshman assessment, the Academy has decided to temporarily allow them to enjoy the treatment of core disciples until the end of this school year. If they can make a breakthrough in the upgrade exam next year, they will be considered for promotion to formal core disciples." The list is as follows: Kuieji, Bai Yan, Wu Feng, Lan Su, Lan Luoluo, Zhou Sijin, Xiao Jingxuan, Nanman Yuner. This is the end. After hearing the final result, Wang Dong and Zio both breathed a sigh of relief for Bai Yan. During the freshman assessment period, the relationship between the 3 of them had obviously become much closer, especially since the 3 of them reached the 3rd place in the final assessment together. They were close friends and could talk about almost anything, but they all knew that in terms of martial spirit talent alone, Bai Yan's talent was not very outstanding. During yesterday's dinner Tang Yu also revealed the news about the core disciple. Although there were several soul masters in Wang Dong's class and the overall quality of the freshmen was relatively high, the number of core disciples was still limited. Moreover, the core disciples of all previous generations were almost all strong attack and control spirit masters. And it was rare for them to choose agile attack and defense spirit masters. The academy would only consider making an exception if one possesses a martial soul fusion skill that can bring about a qualitative change in strength, or is extremely talented like Su Sanchi. Fortunately, perhaps because of her third place, Bai Yan had a 1-year probation period as a core disciple. The next step is to divide the classes. There are 4 classes in total. Class 1 is for the strong attack and control classes. Class 2 is for the defense and agility classes. Class 3 is for the auxiliary classes. Class 4 is for the food and healing classes, as well as other soul masters with special attributes. It is a mixed bag. As a student of the strong attack department, Huo Yuhao naturally entered Class 1. Huo Yuhao, Wang Dong, Xiao, Dai Hulbin, Wu Feng and others were all assigned to this class. The strongest person in Class 2 is undoubtedly Zihuan, who is good at defense. His Pipi elephant martial spirit is indeed unique. Zulu and Baiyan, as they are agile attack types, are naturally in Class 2. The third class of auxiliary department does not refer to all auxiliary soul masters, but to those combat soul masters and weapons soul masters who can directly assist in battle. Like Ningdian is for Class 4, they are composed of some mixed soul masters, who often have outstanding abilities in some special aspects. Almost every grade is divided into classes in this way, but the higher the grade, the smaller the number of students in each class. The elimination rate of Shrek Academy has always been extremely high. Even among the students who can successfully graduate from the external college, no more than 50 people are allowed to graduate each year. Next is the introduction of the head teachers of each class. Each class has 2 head teachers. It is worth mentioning that Mu Jin and Wang Yan became the head teachers of Class 1. Grade 1 Zhou Yi is the head teacher of Class 2. Okay, everyone, please return to the teaching building according to the latest class divisions under the leadership of the class teachers. Yuhao, come with me to receive the championship reward. After Duilan made the announcement, he took Huo Yuhao to the classroom and office area at the back of the senior teaching building. Came to Du Weilan's office. Du Weilan smiled slightly, pointed to the sofa, and said, "Sit down, Yuhao." Ho. Yuhao didn't hesitate to sit down and took the tea that Du Weilan poured. Coming to the office is almost like going home. In just a few months, Huo Yuhao had already seen the offices of several people and had gotten used to it. A huge ruby ring on Du Weilan's right hand flashed, and a leather bag appeared in his hand, which he handed to Huo Yuhao. The leather bag is also a soul guide device. There are some dark patterns on the brown leather bag. Huo Yuhao looks carefully and can feel the subtle fluctuations of soul power on it. Du Weilan said, "Yuhao, this is a special reward that Dean Yan gave you. Although there is only one, it is the most precious prize given by the Academy in the freshman assessment in at least 1,000 years. Open it and take a look." Ho. Yuhao untied the rope on the leather bag, and a ball of black light emerged from the leather bag without warning, and then slowly floated in the air. It was a small bone, which looked like a skull, but was only the length of a palm. It emitted a faint black light, especially the eye sockets of the skull, which seemed to be burning with 2 balls of black flames. After staring at it carefully for a while, one would feel dizzy. The strong fluctuations of soul power made the air in the entire office seem to become sticky. Is this the 10,000-year-old head soul bone? Ho. Yuhao looked at Du Weilan calmly. End of this chapter. Chapter 108. 50,000-year-old skull. Looking at Huo Yuhao, who showed no signs of emotion, Du Weilan smiled slightly. Yes, it is a 10,000-year level skull. Yuhao, you also know the preciousness of soul bones. Let me briefly introduce it to you. This skull was specially selected for you by Dean Yan. It comes from a 50,000-year-old Dread Dragon King. The Dread Dragon is a subspecies of Earth Dragons. Its combat strength is not strong due to its size, but it is a rare spiritual dragon. This 50,000-year-old Dread Dragon King has the pure but diluted blood of the Dark Dragon clan. The essence of the blood of this Dread Dragon King is concentrated in this skull. After the Academy's appraisal, it is estimated that after the Soul Master fuses with it, it can greatly improve the Soul Master's mental strength and physical fitness, and at the same time obtain a spiritual attribute attack-type soul skill. The biggest advantage of soul bones is that the skills they produce are different depending on the fused martial soul. I believe that this skull of the Dread Dragon King is very compatible with your Spirit Eye martial soul. No matter how wealthy Shrek Academy is, its reserve of soul bones will definitely not be too many. Only the most outstanding students or those who have made special contributions to the Academy can receive soul bones as rewards. This kind of reward also means that the Academy believes that the benefits and influence they can create for the Academy in the future will be greater than the value of the soul bones. However, the quality of a 50,000-year-old soul bone is far beyond that of the freshman assessment stage, not to mention that it is a rare sight in Shrek Academy in 1,000 years. This is probably the first time in history, right? Not to mention, this is the skull soul bone, whose value is second only to the torso bone among the 6 parts of the soul bones. The most important soul bone was produced by the spiritual attribute of the Fear Dragon King. For a spiritual attribute soul master, it may be equivalent to an ordinary 100,000-year-old skull if it were to appear at an auction. A soul bone of this level would be sold for at least tens of millions of gold soul coins, which is enough wealth to buy a medium-sized city. I'll give you the skin as well. It can cover up the fluctuations in your soul power. After you go back, merge it with your soul as soon as possible. Although the Academy is very safe, it's a crime to possess a treasure. A 50,000-year-old skull is really extremely precious. Even a soul Douluo like me would be very tempted by it. At the same time, you have to keep the soul bone reward a secret for the Academy. I believe you know how to do it. After collecting the soul bone, Duelen stood up and walked Huo Yuhao to the door. He did not look away until Huo Yuhao disappeared from his sight. The importance of spiritual power to soul masters is self-evident, especially for soul masters at the title Douluo level. What Duelen and Huo Yuhao said was also true. Even though he is only an 8-ringed soul Douluo now, if he could obtain such a priceless head soul bone when he was young, it would be no problem for him to break through to the title Douluo. However, he did not see the slightest sign of intention in Huo Yuhao's expression from beginning to end, but instead revealed a hint of disgust. Does Huo Yuhao not intend to fuse this skull? Thinking of this, Duelen smiled. I really have a wild idea. That is a 50,000-year-old spiritual skull, suitable for any soul master. Even a title Douluo would be attracted to this treasure. Anyway, my mission has been completed. Whether Huo Yuhao would fuse this head soul bone later or not had nothing to do with Duelen. It was just the task of Dean Yanshao's. Young people nowadays are becoming more and more terrible. Huo Yuhao knew that he had to put away the soul bone and the skin. This is the gradual fulfillment of the previous agreement with Yanshao's. The Academy will do its best to find him a full-body soul bone with suitable attributes and the highest possible quality, with the lowest being at the 10,000 a year level. But considering his talent, it would be a bit of a waste to fuse such a soul bone. It is a pity that it is tasteless, the well-informed Huo Yuhao said. A skull with spiritual attributes of 50,000 a year quality is pretty good, so it's okay for soul masters. Soul bones are like their second life. No one will reveal their soul bones easily, and the possession of soul bones is kept extremely secret. This is true even for title Douluo. No one would carry soul bones with them. Once one obtains this rare treasure, they will integrate it into their body as soon as possible to enhance their own strength. Unlike external soul bones, external soul bones will gradually grow as the soul power of the soul master increases, and then bind to the soul master. Soul bones don't have this function after the soul master dies. Soul bones can be dropped for this reason. The number of soul bones is also one of the criteria for judging a large force. Soul bones are eternal, and one piece is passed down for 3 generations, especially the 100,000-year soul bone, which is a treasure of inheritance. For Shrek, he may not have external soul bones, but he definitely has the foundation of a 100,000-year soul bone. After all, a 100,000-year soul beast is bound to drop soul bones. Huo Yuhao said, as long as it's not 100,000 years, he doesn't want it. Okay, even if it takes 100,000 years, we still have to consider the issue of attribute adaptation. That's right. With your talent, Yuhao, you must have a full body of 100,000-year-old spirit bones. Don't lose the big picture for the small. After Xianming woke up, he began to comment in the sea of spirituality. Hyota also directly transformed into a big sister with a shot. Although the 50,000-year-old Dread Dragon King is very rare and is very suitable for your spirit eyes martial soul, Yuhao, you have a second martial soul. Although the 100,000-year-old spirit beasts with spiritual attributes are rare, the 100,000-year-old ice-attributed spirit beasts are quite common in the far north. Indeed, I think Zudi is pretty good. Tian Meng nodded in agreement, approached Bingdi and said with a playful smile, Bing, it seems that Zudi is also about to die. Isn't this just right? We can bring Zudi in as well. Bingdi was silent, and punched Xianmeng away. It's starting to get cold again. I'm going to dream about it if I don't get any more sleep. Huo Yuhao's spirit body also rolled his eyes. Then we must have the strength to lobby. Bingdi hesitated. It may be difficult to convince Zudi. With the pride of the Snow Empress, how could she easily give herself to a human being? Not to mention the Snow Empress, even she herself would not sacrifice herself to Huo Yuhao if it were not for various reasons. Then, let's talk about it later. Let's take our time to add the spirit ring of the second martial spirit, Huo Yuhao made a conclusion. It should be noted that the premise of verbal persuasion is to convince the opponent with real strength, just like capturing Hyota. If Xianmeng hadn't carried out strong control and threatened self-destruction, the result would not have been so easy. Moreover, now that they have lost the remains of the Xianmeng Ice Silkworm, Huo Yuhao and his 4 companions do not have the strength to contend with the Snow Empress. Even if Elder Yi takes action, it would be useless. This method is not easy to bring other Shrek people to the forefront. Although Snow Empress and Ice Empress are like sisters, Huo Yuhao will not put his safety in the hands of others. In particular, Huo Yuhao remembered that the Snow Empress had a rare snow lotus with a cultivation history of 100,000 years as a backup plan. She was not as desperate as the Ice Empress. The Snow Queen can rely on the essence of heaven and earth from the 100,000-year-old Snow Lotus to transform herself into a human being again at any time. Isn't this much better than sacrifice? Snow Emperor has a smooth road ahead of her to transform and rebuild. How could she give up everything she has like Ice Emperor, leaving only her soul for sacrifice? Moreover, there are also the plans of the beggar in the divine world in the original novel. Because the Ice Emperor was intercepted by Hogwa, the Snow Emperor quietly found a secluded corner to transform and rebuild herself alone. Later, with her extremely bad luck, she was met by a 9th-level soul mentor from the Sun and Moon Empire who had gone deep into the core circle of the far north. What's more, the man was carrying the conferred god platform, which was just right for capturing the Snow Empress. Thus, the Snow Empress embryo made its grand appearance. You bastard, and you still say you don't control the underworld. Even Huo Yuhao is still maintaining a flattering relationship with Wang Dong, just to prevent someone who is suspicious by nature from overturning the table and coming out to play for him. However, a few days ago, not long after the freshman assessment began, the 3-month calling-off period of the Peeping Goo ended. Adhering to the idea of using it early and reducing its CD, Huo Yuhao used it directly. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109, The Enlightenment of Going in the Opposite Direction. With the help of the 5th-level observation goo, Huo Yuhao conducted in-depth divination on the subsequent events of the Snow Empress. However, the luck-seeking goo can only look at one's own destiny line, and it is not a magical tool that can answer all questions. The revelations about one's destiny obtained are also very complicated. When Huo Yuhao was using the luck-seeking goo this time, what he was thinking in his heart was indeed related to Snow Empress, but in the end he received a completely different revelation of his fate. Go to the Star Forest 8 months later. There is no special translator, the luck insect, but anyway, this is roughly what Huo Yuhao understood. Huo Yuhao suspected that he was in conflict with the starred out Great Forest. No, it should be a fight with a certain auspicious beast in the starred out Great Forest. This time it must, definitely, and absolutely have something to do with the auspicious beast. This is what Huo Yuhao thought. However, this time, there is no requirement to go alone, but he can make use of Shrek's background. Otherwise, it would be a bit nerve-wracking to go to the core area alone. It would be troublesome if we encountered a ferocious beast 8 months later. It was the holiday after Shrek's first grade. Huo Yuhao planned to take advantage of this period of time to raise his soul power level to level 40, and also see if he could meet another suitable soul beast this time. The calling time of the Peeping Goo has reached nearly a year. Moreover, this guy is picky and doesn't think highly of Huo Yuhao's current soul power as the price of using it. The luck-seeking goo consumed a lot of Huo Yuhao's luck in one go. Huo Yuhao even suspected that his luck in the freshman assessment might have been affected by it, which made him look a little unhappy. Otherwise, how could he be promoted and meet Zhou Sichen's team, Wang Chushin's team, and even Ning Tian's team? They are all the best among the freshmen. You can tell from the list of core disciples. In the original novel, Wang Chushin's team relied on the Land Sisters' spirit fusion technique and finally won the 3rd place. Not long after Huo Yuhao left, an old man in white appeared in Du Weilan's office. Du Weilan was stunned at first, then bowed respectfully. Dean, Yan Shao smiled gently. Is everything done? I have already handed over the 50,000-year-old skull of the Dread Dragon King to Huo Yuhao. Do. Whelan nodded, and while making tea for Yan Shao's, he told Yan Shao's everything about Huo Yuhao's performance just now. That shouldn't be the case. This is a 50,000-year-old spiritual soul bone, and it also carries a trace of pure dark dragon blood. It is the most suitable head soul bone for Yuhao in the academy. Whelan, what do you think? After Yan Shao sat down, he took the teacup and looked at Du Whelan in his mind. Huo Yuhao would naturally not be so grateful as to cry. After all, this was an agreement between the two of them, and it was also a necessary investment to bind Huo Yuhao. But if, as Du Whelan said, there was no expression at all, that would be completely unreasonable. It can't be that he looks down on this soul bone, right? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Maybe, Yuhao is not the kind of person who shows his emotions. Since he entered school, he has always behaved like this, calm and unperturbed. How else can Du Whelan see it? Such a rare soul bone, anyone would be unable to contain themselves upon knowing about it. Who knew there was also this freak Huo Yuhao? So Du Whelan told Yan Shao's everything about Huo Yuhao's performance since he entered school as the director of studies at the Wuhan Department's External Academy. He is very competent and pays close attention to the more talented students in the entire External Academy, especially Huo Yuhao, whom Yan Shao's had specifically asked him to observe before. Du Whelan even investigated everything about his food, drink, housing and transportation, especially the things he liked or the people he liked. That's true. Yan Shao's took a sip of tea and nodded slowly. Moreover, he also remembered the 100,000-year spirit ring that he had promised to Huo Yuhao. Yuhao must have known that a 100,000-year soul beast would definitely drop soul bones. After all, this Dread Dragon King was only 50,000 years old, so it was reasonable for the other party not to know its importance when seeing it for the first time. Looking across the Douluo continent, there are only a handful of soul beasts that are over 100,000 years old, not to mention that it is of spiritual nature. The all-red rings of Huo Yuhao's ultimate eyes were just a concept. Even if the first soul ring of Huo Yuhao's second martial soul had not been fused yet, Yan Shao's and the others would not let Huo Yuhao directly absorb a 100,000-year level soul ring in the first ring. There is a limit to the endurance of a soul master, especially for a soul master with twin martial souls. For example, the twin martial souls 10,000 years ago, because they absorbed spirit rings at will, often encountered the situation where the spirit rings were too heavy, resulting in their death. Fortunately, Master, one of the founders of Shrek, perfected the method of practicing twin martial spirits and realized it on the sea god Tang's sand. This method was naturally passed down through Shrek in the minds of Yan Shao's and a group of elders. It was completely sufficient for Huo Yuhao's ice scorpion martial soul to be able to absorb the 100,000-year spirit ring starting from the 7th ring. Every soul master, when his cultivation breaks through level 70, no matter what kind of soul ring he obtains, his martial soul will undergo a qualitative change and truly merge with the body, allowing him to display his martial soul's true form. Once the martial soul's true body is displayed, it will completely transform into the form of a martial soul, thereby skyrocketing its strength. After that, all the original soul skills can be used with power nearly doubled. The older the 7th soul ring is, the stronger the martial soul's true body will be. The quality of the martial soul's true body reaches 100,000 years, which is something many people dare not even think about. Plus ultimate ice, 2 words, invincible. Besides, the age of the soul ring and soul bone is important, but the soul beast bloodline contained in it is the more critical influencing factor. In particular, this skull has a trace of the dark dragon's bloodline. Not only can it greatly enhance mental strength, it also has an extremely high impact on physical fitness. If it weren't for the fact that soul masters with spiritual and dark attributes are too rare, this soul bone might have been absorbed long ago and would not have survived until now. If you don't become a householder, you don't know how expensive firewood and rice are. We can't let Yuhao develop the habit of being picky. Yan Shao's planned to find some time to have a detailed talk with Huo Yuhao about his subsequent development, about finding the right type of soul beast later, regarding the priority of the spirit eyes martial soul and the ice scorpion martial soul. After all, Yan Shao's gave such a soul bone because he had witnessed a powerful performance of Ling Mao martial soul. Huo Yuhao left along the stairs, and just as he reached the next floor, Mu Jin, who had been waiting there for a long time, came to greet him. Teacher. Mu, what's the matter? Huo Yuhao looked at Mu Jin, who was beaming with joy, and asked. He remembered that Mu Jin and Wang Yan had just led a group of students back to the teaching building. Appearing here, could it be that he is here to deliver soul bones? Mu Jin smiled slightly, revealing a look of relief and satisfaction. Yuhao, I came here specially to see you. Congratulations on winning first place among freshmen. I also have a prize for you. As she spoke, a silver bracelet-like storage soul guide on her hand flashed, and a leather bag appeared in her hand, which she handed to Huo Yuhao. The skin cannot be said to be exactly the same as the one Duelin just gave him, but it can be said to be very similar. Is it also a soul bone? Hearing Huo Yuhao's light words, Mu Jin's eyes showed a hint of excitement, and she instantly understood the meaning. I see. No wonder Director Du is so mysterious. It turns out that the reward he gave you is so high. Mu Jin looked at Huo Yuhao but did not ask him in detail about his plan for the soul bone. Given Huo Yuhao's talent, it was understandable that the academy was bleeding so much. After all, he himself was planning to invest something in Huo Yuhao. End of this chapter. Chapter 110. Zhou Yi, get out if you don't accept it. Mu Jin nodded and said gently, Yuhao, what I give you is a soul bone. This is what you deserve. Do you remember the battle with Wang Dong, Xiao and Bai Yan? That time, I made a bet with their class teacher and won a soul bone. Open it and take a look. Huo Yuhao took out the contents of the leather bag, and a brilliant ice blue light burst out, followed by a bone-chilling chill. This is a piece of bone that looks like a smaller version of a human left leg. It is translucent throughout, like a gorgeous sapphire, and is wrapped in light blue soul power. However, the soul power fluctuations emitted by the soul bone are far less strong than the previous 50,000-year-old skull of the Dread Dragon King. Moreover, this soul bone is not complete. The more complete the soul bone is, the higher its quality will naturally be. This left leg bone was taken from a dire wolf that has cultivated for 7,000 years. Ice-attributed soul bones are relatively rare here, and can be considered a rare treasure. However, although the quality of this soul bone is quite good, its age is a bit low for you. My personal suggestion is that Yuhao, you should not fuse it directly, as it will waste your potential. Of course, I'm just giving you a suggestion. How you use it later depends entirely on your own ideas, Yuhao. Okay, go back to class first. Teacher Wang Yan is still waiting for you in the class. Huo Yuhao didn't act pretentiously and directly accepted the soul bone. Thank you, Teacher Mu. Afterwards, Huo Yuhao returned to the first-grade teaching building alone. As soon as Huo Yuhao returned to the classroom, he immediately attracted the attention of the entire class of the 4 freshman classes. Class 1 is undoubtedly the strongest, but Class 1 does not have the largest number of people. There are only over 60 people in the attack and control systems combined, and the largest number is the mixed class. In Class 4, Wang Yan smiled slightly and said gently, Yuhao is back just in time. We are about to start selecting class monitors. Please take a seat first. The classes were reorganized and most of the seats in the classes changed. Fortunately, Huo Yuhao's position did not change, still in the familiar back row by the window, and on his right side, Xiao and Wang Dong happened to be sitting on the podium. Wang Yan continued, now we will elect the monitor and vice monitor. The students in our class are all combat spirit masters of the offensive and control departments, so the monitor and vice monitor will be from the offensive and control departments respectively. The monitor and vice monitor will be exchanged every month. I will nominate them, and then everyone will vote anonymously. When Wang Dong learned about the class monitor election, he was the first to express his opinion. Teacher Wang, I think we don't need to choose the offensive department. Is there anyone more suitable than Yuhao? Wang Dong's words won the approval of almost everyone in the class, and they all came forward. Yes, there is no need to go to such lengths. I'm voting for Huo Yuhao. I also agree that Huo Yuhao should be the squad leader. Wang Yan's teaching style has always been gentle, unlike Zhou Yi, who has a strong desire for control. Even when the class monitor election was interrupted by an unexpected situation, he did not get angry and still had a smiling look on his face. In that case, let's just raise our hands and vote. Please raise your hands if you agree that Huo Yuhao should be the class monitor. Not surprisingly, the results were clear. Even Wu Feng, who had always disliked Huo Yuhao, raised his hand. If it was Huo Yuhao, I would barely acknowledge his strength. The only person who didn't raise his hand was Huo Yuhao himself. He also didn't expect that he would be wearing a yellow robe again. When you are famous, you are prone to gossip. As for the duties of the squad leader, Huo Yuhao said that it was not a big problem having served as monitor of the freshman class 9 once. Huo Yuhao had a wealth of experience and knew that the duties of a monitor were not that complicated, and with another deputy monitor to support him, he could also relax and unwind. Except for Huo Yuhao, everyone raised their hands. The students who are able to enter Shrek Academy can be said to be the chosen ones of heaven. Which one of them is not arrogant? But after going through the freshman assessment, everyone also realized the tip of the iceberg of Huo Yuhao's strength. This overwhelming lead in strength conquered almost everyone. Moreover, at Shrek Academy, strength comes first. The position of the squad leader can change at any time, and you can replace him as long as you defeat him. The strong will definitely prevail. As for Dai Huobin, he had no objection because Dai Huobin was in class 2. Because of their martial soul fusion skills, the academy gave Dai Huobin and Zulu the privilege of being able to enter the same class together. However, Dai Huobin and Zulu did not choose the best and most suitable class in the end, but went to class 2 together. In addition to the idea of preferring to be the leader, he also wanted to stay away from Huo Yuhao. The competition for candidates in the control department was more tense. There were 4 nominees, namely Xiao Xiao, Xiao Jingxuan, Lan Su Su, and Lan Luoluo. In the end, even Xiao Xiao herself did not expect that she would win by a slight margin. Thus, the 2 class monitors of the freshman class were determined. Huo Yuhao is good at offensive, and Xiao Xiao is good at control. Speaking of Xiao Xiao, the previous card owner's achievement task was also successfully completed after the class division. As expected, it was because Xiao Xiao escaped from Zhou Yi's clutches. From then on, the sky was high and the birds could fly freely. Achievement triggered. Achieve Xiao Xiao's. When will it end? Achievement and receive the reward of stealth goo, hidden breath goo, a second-level goo worm that can hide its own breath. Evaluation: you can't see me. Class 1 has a happy atmosphere, but Class 2 is completely different. As the head teacher of Class 2, Zhou Yi is now establishing her authority. Zhou Yi's old face looked calm, but her eyes were like sharp knives, scanning coldly. Everyone, stand up! Zhou Yi shouted coldly. Students like Bai Yan, who had been under Zhou Yi's command, all trembled in their hearts, shivered, and stood up instantly. They understood that this perverted old lady was probably going to show her power. The other students stood up one after another, some quickly and some slowly. They didn't know Zhou Yi well. She was just an old lady. What could she do? Zhou Yi sneered. Very good. 31 people stood up immediately after hearing my order, and the other 30 people delayed for a while. Those whose names I call will stand in the corridor as punishment. Z. Huanayu. The first person she called was Zi Huanayu, who had the cultivation level of a soul master and enjoyed the treatment of a core disciple. Zi Huanayu was stunned for a moment, then said with a playful smile, Teacher Zhou, you don't have to be so serious. I just stood up a little late, Zhou. You didn't waste any words. He flashed in front of Zi Huanayu, grabbed his collar, and threw him out of the window. There was only a scream from Zi Huanayu outside, and then there was no more sound. The students were all stunned. Long. Xiangayu, Nanman Yuner. The cold voice sounded slowly, and soon, all 30 students who had stood up a little late were called out. With a previous example of Zi Huanayu, no one dared to resist. Looking at the 6 soul rings flashing on Zhou Yi's body, they all became obedient. Zhou Yi said calmly, I have 2 announcements to make. First, I'm appointing class monitors. The Defense Department of Monitor is Zi Huanayu, and the Agility Department of Monitor is Bai Yan. Second, anyone who dares to question the teacher's decision in class from now on will be expelled. Teacher Zhou, isn't there an election for class monitor? Dai Huobin suddenly spoke. It's okay that he's a strong attack type but didn't make it to the class monitor, but how is Zulu inferior to Bai Yan? Zhou Yi glanced at him coldly. I just said that anyone who dares to question the teacher will be expelled. You are a core disciple, I have no right to expel you. But I will ask the college to transfer you out of the 2nd freshman class. Dai Huobin, stand up and get out. Dai Huobin was stunned for a moment. This old woman Zhou Yi was completely unreasonable. He was dazed for a moment, and before he could react, Zhou Yi was already in front of him, in front of Zhou Yi, who was in the 6th ring. Dai Huobin didn't even have the strength to resist. He immediately followed Zi Huanayu's footsteps and was thrown out of the window by Zhou Yi. Teacher Zhou, I don't accept it. Zhu Lu was also shocked and angry, and let out a cry. Zhou Yi grabbed her and threw her out of the window in an instant. Get out if you don't agree. The whole class fell silent. It was at this time that Mu Jin, who had prepared teaching aids, also came to the freshman teaching building. When she heard the noise coming from the freshman class too, Her brows instantly furrowed. End of this chapter. Chapter 111, A Fierce Battle. If we say that when Zihuanai was thrown out, it shocked the whole class when Zhou threw Dai Huolbin and Zulu out of the window, the whole grade 1 class 2 was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. All the students, including those who were punished and sent to the corridor, heard the noise. Everyone was shocked for a moment, and the atmosphere instantly became solemn. This is the second strongest newcomer. Under the first person, he also possesses the martial soul fusion skill. Even the teachers from other classes nearby, relying on their skills, heard some of the situation and started to watch the show. Wang Yan from the next class widened his eyes in surprise. He finally understood why Zhou Yi had never been promoted to senior teacher. Her temper was too outrageous. Wang Yan said to the students in class 1, "You guys study on your own for a while. I'll go take a look outside." They soon arrived at class 2 for freshmen, and Wang Yan hurriedly called out, "Teacher Zhou, isn't it a bit wrong for you to do this?" Zhou Yi flashed in front of him and said coldly, "Teacher Wang, you are the head teacher of class 1, and I am the head teacher of class 2, so you have no right to interfere with my teaching philosophy. I will report to the academy later that 2 students in this class, Dai Huolbin and Zulu, have seriously violated class discipline. Since they are co-disciples of the outer courtyard, I have no right to expel them, but please transfer them out of this class. I will not teach such students." Wang Yan said anxiously, "Teacher Zhou, calm down. They are all co-disciples." Zhou Yi snorted coldly, "In my eyes, there are only obedient and disobedient disciples, only excellent and rubbish disciples, and no core disciples. I have made up my mind, and both of them must get out of here." At this moment, Wang Yan felt that Zhou Yi was a madman. It's totally unreasonable. At this moment, a mature woman's voice sounded, "Teacher Zhou, you have such great authority as a teacher. Not only do you punish students arbitrarily, you also expel core disciples at will. If you don't know, you would think Shrek is owned by your family." Hearing this sarcastic voice, Zhou Yi calmly retorted, "Teacher Mu Jin, I am only punishing those students who don't follow the instructions. I respect Wang Yan's seniority, but who are you? Go back to your class and attend class, you guy. I'm also a senior teacher now." Mu Jin was shocked and furious. Is Zhou Yi so aggressive now? What? Is being a senior teacher so great? You were just lucky to be chosen. When did it become your turn to tell me what to do? Zhou Yi sneered. She had been feeling resentful for losing a high-quality soul bone to Mu Jin in a bet. As a result, she failed the senior professional title evaluation a few days ago because of Mu Jin. She was just planning to teach class 2 well with all her strength, but Mu Jin came to provoke her and she couldn't tolerate it at all. "You are not worthy of being my teacher. I am ashamed to be your teacher at Shrek Academy." Hibiscus also fell out with her. She and Zhou Yi knew each other when they were young. At that time, they were rivals in love, and in the end Zhou Yi won. In addition, Zhou Yi later fired Mu Jin's younger brother for no reason, and the conflicts between the two accumulated again until now. The relationship between the two has become almost incompatible. "You said I'm not qualified to be a teacher? Don't you even look at your own admission rate? You won the freshman assessment this time, but it was just luck." Zhou Yi's face darkened. Zhou Yi, who has always been stubborn, never thinks she is wrong, especially when it comes to teaching. Only a strict teacher can produce a good disciple. This can be seen from Zhou Yi's teaching results. Zhou Yi has trained more inter-court students than most senior teachers. Of course, she has also expelled the most students in the entire academy. Enrollment rate? Don't make me laugh. The number of freshmen who have been expelled by you for countless years with trumped-up reasons and whose future development has been affected cannot be reflected by cold numbers. Trash is trash. I fired them early to give them a quick death. I think you are the real loser, teacher. Mu, Teacher Zhou, forget it. Wang Yan originally wanted to smooth things over, but the situation became more and more serious. The two of them were no longer just arguing verbally, but gradually became angry and started fighting each other. For a moment, the two female soul emperors fought each other. As the Soul King, Wang Yan could only step aside anxiously, still trying to persuade the two stop fighting. At this time, the students around saw the two teachers fighting and ran out of the classroom to avoid being affected by the aftermath of the fight. Some clever soul masters even ran directly to the location of the head teacher Duelen, ready to call someone to stop this farce. The battle between soul emperors is no joke, and the two did not release their martial souls and soul skills. but simply circulated their soul power and fought with fists and feet. Otherwise, the aftermath of the battle between the two soul emperors might directly destroy the house, and the freshman classroom would be completely unable to withstand the full force of the two. The fight lasted only a few rounds, and the two were fairly evenly matched. However, the deliberate disguise on Zhou Yi's face was directly torn off by Mu Jin. An exquisite human skin mask was torn off, revealing a beautiful face. She looked no more than 28 or 29 years old, with eyebrows like spring mountains and a delicate and charming appearance. Everyone present was stunned, especially the people in Class 1. They never expected that teacher Zhou Yi, who was known as a perverted old ant, was actually a beauty who was as beautiful as Mu Jin. Moreover, looking at her true appearance now, how can she look stern at all? So, this is what old lady Zhou Yi looks like? I was wondering why that level 8 soul guide would fall for her. I thought he was just starving and had no choice. Wang Dong quietly complained to Huo Yuhao and Xiao beside him. Fortunately, we managed to escape Zhou Yi's clutches. Her teaching method is really terrible, Xiao patted his chest with lingering fear. She had also heard about Chao Dai Hulbin, and the other man had just been ruthlessly fired. I didn't expect Zhou Yi to be so crazy that he even dared to touch the core disciples. Dai Hulbin is asking for trouble. He could have just come to Class 1, but he applied to join Class 2. Now he regrets it. Wang Dong felt somewhat loading. They were getting serious. With the spiritual power of Soul Douluo level, Huo Yuhao easily detected it at this moment. The two men were fighting as they walked, and the battlefield had already reached the open space outside the teaching building. As the martial spirit possesses the body, the spirit ring appears. The soul power of the two soul emperors oppressed the people around them. 2 yellow, 2 purple and 2 black. Both of them are graduates of Shrek, and their spirit ring configurations are the same, reaching the optimal spirit ring ratio for ordinary spirit masters. Zhou Yi's martial soul is a fire dragon, which is a variant of Wu Feng's red dragon. As the dragon roared, a strong heat rushed out from her body. Mu Jin's martial soul is the Ghost King Vine, which is restrained by Zhou Yi's fire-attributed martial soul. After both sides let go, she was gradually losing the upper hand. As the noise gradually got louder, the head teachers of the 4 freshman classes all rushed over. They also wanted to stop the fight, but they were still powerless. Even some of the students who were watching started the exciting betting session because of the spirit restrained. Although the majority of people are optimistic about Zhou Yi, more people bet on Mu Jin to win fairness and freedom. As everyone was eating the melon, they understood the cause, process and outcome. They were all filled with indignation, especially the original group of people, who all started to rebel. They just hope Mu Jin can teach Zhou Yi a lesson. Just when Mu Jin was careless and was about to be hit by Zhou Yi's soul skill, Huo Yuhao appeared in the center of the battlefield and crushed the oncoming fireball with ease. Zhou Yi relationship, acquaintance achievement mission. I am the class teacher. Looking at the tasks that refreshed above Zhou Yi's head, Huo Yuhao's eyes flickered slightly. Zhou Yi is determined today. Even if the system comes, he can't save her. End of this chapter. Chapter 112, A Soul Emperor. The saying goes, well, as a human being, you must repay kindness. Mu Jin is not only Huo Yuhao's homeroom teacher, but she also just gave him a priceless soul bone. It was for this reason that Huo Yuhao took action directly and naturally. Justice is enforced. What? You said this soul bone came from Zhou Yi. That was because she lost the bet to Mu Jin. As Huo Yuhao smashed the fireball with one punch, he immediately protected Mu Jin behind him. Teacher Mu, are you okay? Before Mu Jin could reply, Zhou Yi's temper flared up. Huo Yuhao, right? Get out of my way, or I'll take care of you too. Huo Yuhao glanced at Zhou Yi and said coldly, with your strength, do you have the ability to do that? Mu Jin also spoke calmly and dissuaded him. Yuhao, I'm fine, you go back first. This is a personal grudge between Zhou Yi and me. Mu Jin knew that now that the matter had gotten out of hand, someone might come and quell the situation if she waited a little longer. What's more, she was completely right in this confrontation. It was Zhou Yi who started the fight first. If she didn't take this opportunity to deal with Zhou Yi, she might not have that opportunity again in the future. The students who were watching outside the open space widened their eyes when they saw Huo Yuhao suddenly join the battle between the two soul emperors. Many girls who had a crush on Huo Yuhao exclaimed, "Oh my god, Yuhao, please come out quickly, this is too dangerous." Squad leader, be careful. Some sensible freshmen also said, we cannot withstand the aftermath of a battle of this magnitude. Although Huo Yuhao is very powerful, it is too bold to do this. Yeah, I can only pray that the two teachers can be more rational. Why? Haven't the college leaders come yet? If they don't come soon, someone will die. Xiao. Xiao was also extremely worried and looked at Wang Dong beside her. Think of a solution, Wang Dong. Zhou Yi is a sole emperor. Why is Yuhao so impulsive? This. Yuhao must have his reasons for doing this. Wang Dong was the one who was most at ease among the group of people. She had great faith in Huo Yuhao's strength and judgment. He's just a sole emperor. Since Yuhao chose to take action, he must have made preparations. Don't worry, squad leader Xiao Oxeo, that's good. Infected by Wang Dong's confidence, Xiao put aside her worries and then said angrily, "Don't call me squad leader. It feels weird." "Okay, squad leader Xiao. Wang Dong, you are such a nuisance." In the open space of the battle, hearing Huo Yuhao's ridicule, Zhou Yi, who was already furious, suddenly became gloomy, his chest heaving, and his entire body flushed. "With my limited strength, it's more than enough to deal with you. Today, I will teach you on behalf of Mu Jin what it means to respect teachers." A terrifying fluctuation of soul power erupted, and the aura of the Soul Emperor level directly pressed towards Huo Yuhao. "Zhou Yi, you bastard!" Mu Jin was shocked and angry. Was Zhou Yi crazy? How dare he attack a student directly like this? She originally wanted to protect Huo Yuhao behind her, but was stopped by the other party. Huo Yuhao ignored the pressure and said with a smile, "Don't worry, Teacher Mu Jin. With my current strength, it's easy for me to deal with a mere Zhou Yi," and indeed it is. Zhou Yi's martial soul is a fire dragon, with a trace of dragon blood. Although the quality of the martial soul itself is not bad, the soul master who controls the fire dragon is really not that good. This can be seen just from Zhou Yi's current soul power level before becoming a soul saint. Soul masters did not have a true spirit body, so challenging opponents of higher levels was a common occurrence for true geniuses. Zhou Yi might not be able to defeat any soul king of a lower level from the Shrekiner court, let alone Huo Yuhao, who possessed the ultimate martial soul. With the ultimate ice, his soul power was extremely strong, so leaping 2 or even 3 levels was not a problem at all. If it was a soul emperor like Mazaya Ateo, it might be more difficult to deal with. Not only do they have extremely powerful martial spirits, they have also fused multiple soul bones and learned various secret techniques, making them the best among soul emperors. Their strength is enough to fight against soul sages who possess martial soul avatars. Whether a soul master has a martial soul or not makes a world of difference. But if it comes to those spoiled teachers in the outer courtyard whose highest cultivation level is only Soul Emperor, Huo Yuhao doesn't even need to use any special means. He will definitely win. Of course, Huo Yuhao had no intention of launching a map attack. He himself is quite respectful to teachers, but it is a different story for people like Zhou Yi who are unworthy of being a teacher. Eat my punch. Possessed by the fire dragon, Zhou Yi, who already had a hot temper, became even more furious seeing that the soul power pressure was ineffective. Zhou Yi took action without saying anything. Everyone only saw a flash before their eyes, and Zhou Yi appeared in front of Huo Yuhao and punched him directly. They didn't have time to worry about Huo Yuhao. In an instant, the only yellow soul ring on Huo Yuhao's back lit up symbolically, purple and gold flowed on his body, and he clenched his fist suddenly and threw a punch that collided with Zhou Yi's fist. After a muffled sound instead, Zhou Yi's figure retreated violently, and his good-looking face became hideous. What? A spirit? I martial spirit. But if your full strength attack is only this limited, I cannot support your boasting. Zhou Yi finally understood how Wang Dong and the others lost to Huo Yuhao. It turned out that Huo Yuhao was only equal to Zhou Yi in strength, but the opponent relied on his first soul skill, and his fist was secretly carrying a sinister spiritual power. This extremely sinister and evil little devil, relying on the spiritual attribute of his martial soul, used the advantages of his mental power and soul skills to launch sneak attacks. Even though Zhou Yi first saw this move, she was caught off guard and suffered a loss. Her sea of spirituality was directly attacked by it. Fortunately, Zhou Yi had reached the level of Soul Emperor, his mental power was good, and his spiritual sea was relatively solid, so he was not knocked down by a single punch like Huo Yuhao's previous opponents. I'll teach you a lesson today, Zhou Yi roared again. The first few soul rings behind him flickered one after another, his eyes turned red, and flames burned around him. Before he arrived, the scorching airflow was already blowing in his face. At this moment, Zhou Yi had the amplification power of the previous soul skills, and his burst speed was incredibly fast. In just a moment, The two men fought several rounds. However, even though Zhou Yi used his soul skills and was always paying attention to the protection of his sea of spirituality, he was still at a disadvantage. With the help of mental detection, Huo Yuhao found a flaw, teleported, and punched Zhou Yi in the chest, knocking her away again. Shock spread among the crowd. Everyone knows that Huo Yuhao, as the strongest freshman, is very powerful, but no one expected that he would be so strong. Is this still a soul master? How can you always suppress the soul emperor? Simply outrageous. The fight between Huo Yuhao and Zhou Yi only lasted a few moments, but everyone could see that Zhou Yi was no match for him at all. Especially Mu Jin, who was watching from the side, was extremely shocked. With surprise flashing in her beautiful eyes, she herself knows Zhou Yi's strength best. Both of them have the best soul ring ratio. Although Mu Jin's soul power level is slightly higher than Zhou Yi, due to the restraint of her martial soul attributes, Mu Jin has never been Zhou Yi's opponent. However, his student Huo Yuhao, who only had the cultivation level of a soul master, actually defeated Zhou Yi, who was at the soul emperor level. It's a full 3 steps. Moreover, Mu Jin could see that Huo Yuhao had only used his first and third soul skills. Zhou Yi, on the other hand, did not hold back at all and shamelessly used all of her first 4 spirit skills, bombarding Huo Yuhao in turns, but she was still no match for Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao seemed to be able to anticipate the enemy's moves. He simply used the defensive counterattack to suppress Zhou Yi. The final teleportation is a stroke of genius. What a terrifying combat awareness. He is worthy of being my student. End of this chapter. Chapter 113, Twin Martial Spirits. Question mark. The smoke gradually dispersed. Zhou Yi was revealed lying on the ground. Huo Yuhao's nonchalant voice spread. How is it? With my strength, it's easy for me to deal with a loser like you, Zhou. Yi stood up slowly without saying anything. This battle was so humiliating that Zhou Yi felt a little embarrassed. Not only was his human skin mask torn off by Mu Jin first, but he was also defeated by a soul master level student later. But, we can't give up yet. If she gave up and admitted defeat at this point, would Zhou Yi still be able to stay in Shrek in the future? The disguise of face and voice does not matter. If a soul emperor level teacher was completely defeated by a student who only had the cultivation level of a soul venerable, then she might as well just resign. A strong sense of oppression came, causing the students who were still discussing around them to feel pressured and fall silent under everyone's shocked gaze. The black 5th and 6th soul rings behind Zhou Yi lit up at the same time. Everyone seemed to see the exploding flames suddenly spread out with Zhou Yi's body as the center, and then condensed on her right hand. The rising flames turned deep red, as if carrying Zhou Yi's silent anger, ready to set the whole world on fire. After all, Zhou Yi had successfully graduated from Shrek's external academy, so he still had some tricks up his sleeve. Zhou Yi believed that even a soul sage would have to be extremely careful when facing this move by activating 2 10,000-year soul skills at the same time. Huo Yuhao, it's not too late for you to admit defeat now. With your strength, you won't be able to withstand my attack, Zhou Yi's cold voice sounded. At this moment, she was too lazy to maintain the disguise of an old voice. She just wanted to regain her dignity as a teacher. Looking at Zhou Yi, who was being condescending as if giving alms, Huo Yuhao smiled. It doesn't matter. Come on, Huo. Yuhao's disdainful expression made Zhou Yi extremely angry. I gave you a chance, but you asked for this. Seeing the tense atmosphere, the onlookers began to whisper, fuck, that old woman Zhou Yi is really going to get serious. Squad leader, you must keep working hard. Knock down Zhou Yi and teach her a lesson. This woman really took great pains to pretend to be old. If she had revealed her original appearance and voice earlier, I would have definitely obeyed her. You're a face-hungry person. Forget it, humph. No matter how pretty this old woman Zhou Yi is, she won't get my approval. She has a completely evil heart. Bet on it. Huo Yuhao versus Zhou Yi. The odds. Looking at such a lively scene, Yan Xiao's in the air commented, it's been a long time since Shrek Academy has been so lively. Do Whelan beside him asked in confusion, Dean, shouldn't we stop Zhou Yi? After all, she is also a soul emperor. If she gets serious, Yuhao might also stop it. No need, Yan Xiao smiled and said, you have always wondered why the Academy values Huo Yuhao so much that they even gave him the skull of the Dread Dragon King, which was kept at the bottom of the box. You will know it soon. It was just an ordinary fire, and Huo Yuhao's ultimate ice could extinguish it with just one hand. Moreover, with him as a super Douluo controlling the situation, Huo Yuhao cannot be hurt at all. Similarly, Yan Xiao's was also somewhat curious about what the scene would be like if Huo Yuhao, who is now at the Soul Master level, used the Ice Jade Scorpion again as early as when he was a great Soul Master. Huo Yuhao had received horrifying comments about the humanoid beast from Old Zhuan at that time, with a bonus of the Ice Jade Scorpion spirit possessing him. Huo Yuhao's physical fitness was no less than that of a Soul Emperor, and now, with just a possession of the Spirit Eye, Huo Yuhao's physical fitness is enough to compete with the average Soul Emperor. It seems that the limit of his 4th Soul Ring is far more than a 10,000-year Soul Ring. What a terrifying talent! As a disciple of Dragon God Douluo, Yan Xiaos believed that he had amazing talent, but when he compared himself with Yuhao, Yan Xiaos felt that his talent was really not worth mentioning. Even if Huo Yuhao did not have a second martial soul, it would be the same. The more you understand Huo Yuhao, the more you can feel the horror of the Spirit Eye martial soul. I am afraid that, as Wang Yan said, Huo Yuhao's innate martial soul has been awakened for the second time, and it is the top silver level second awakening at this stage. The roar of the fire dragon, Zhou Yi shouted angrily and swung out with his right fist. Deep red flames were released instantly, forming a pillar of fire that rushed towards Huo Yuhao. The aggressive heat flow carried an indescribable majesty. Wherever the fire column passed, the air was filled with a series of explosions and sharp whistles. It was unstoppable. Facing Zhou Yi's fierce attack, Huo Yuhao did not retreat but advanced. The Ice Soul body possessed Huo Yuhao, revealing the Ice Blue Emperor Scorpion martial soul. A circle of purple soul rings rose from under his feet. Then, it started to shine in an instant. A layer of emerald green light spread out from Huo Yuhao's body, and then, extreme cold suddenly appeared, and the original heat in the air was instantly swept away. The extreme cold covered the entire open space where the battle was taking place with a layer of white frost. Not only that, a stream of icy air quickly spread out with Huo Yuhao as the center, pressing towards Zhou Yi's pillar of fire like a tide. Soul Bone Skill, the realm of eternal freezing. The extreme chill was so intense that even the students far away from the battlefield shuddered and looked at each other with shock on their faces. Twin martial spirits, what's going on? Yuhao also has a twin martial soul. Seeing Zhao so surprised, Wang Dong chuckled. She was the first one to know Yuhao's secret. Moreover, Zhao probably could never have imagined in her dreams that Wang Dong also had a twin martial soul. That is to say, there are a total of 6 martial spirits among the 3 of us. Duelin in the sky opened his mouth in shock. Don't be so ridiculous. The huge pressure and extreme chill shocked even his soul. Douluo's cultivation, and even his martial soul felt a sense of suppression. Is it the ultimate ice? Duelin looked at Yan Xiaos cautiously, trying to find a definite answer. Seeing Yan Xiaos smiling without saying anything, Duelin was shocked again. Then it dawned on me, talent of this level. No wonder Shrek made an exception for the first time and accepted him directly into the inner courtyard. At the beginning, when Duelin knew that Huo Yuhao was entering the inner courtyard early, he was somewhat dissatisfied in his heart. After all, Shrek's rules cannot be abolished. For a moment, Duelin was somewhat suspicious of the other party's identity. Maybe Huo Yuhao is the child of an elder in the Sea God Pavilion. I never expected that it was pure talent. Duelin never dreamed that one day he would have the honor of witnessing the existence of an ultimate martial spirit, and a twin martial spirit at that. Question, understand, become. What the dean and his colleagues did was absolutely right. Such a monster must be kept in the academy at all costs. Of course, it was a shock. Most of the students were not optimistic about Huo Yuhao. What's the use of this second martial soul? It's just a 1,000-year-old soul ring. How can it fight against Zhou Yi's 2 black soul rings? Huo Yuhao's strengths are obviously his physical fitness in close combat, while his weaknesses are his soul power level and the number of his soul skills. And now, this is obviously using one's own weakness to attack the enemy's strength. Unwise. If he could rely on the teleportation soul skill to avoid Zhou Yi's pillar of fire, he would still be able to fight. But now, it's hard to say. I saw the ice blue cold current and the deep red flame collide with each other in an instant. The onlookers were surprised to find that their judgment was completely wrong. The one who had the upper hand was not Zhou Yi, who was at the Soul Emperor level, but Huo Yuhao, who was at the Soul Lord level. As soon as the cold current came into contact with the flame, the scorching flame seemed to be hit by a downpour. The flame suddenly dimmed, while the cold current shone brightly. Waves of chill stimulated everyone present to feel a little sluggish, but in just a moment, the raging flames were extinguished by the cold. Impossible, Zhou Yi screamed. She simply couldn't believe that the soul skill combination that she was so proud of was broken by Huo Yuhao in one move. How on earth did you do that? At this moment, Zhou Yi just wanted to get an answer from Huo Yuhao, because "You're a loser, Huo." Yuhao naturally had no need to explain to her and just chuckled. He controlled the coldness and continued to move forward, instantly freezing the previously invincible Zhou Yi into an ice sculpture cold, extremely cold. In just a moment, Zhou Yi clearly felt the horrific effect brought about by the extreme coldness. It seemed as if all the blood in her body had frozen, and she could no longer make any other movements. The world suddenly became quiet. Mu Jin, who was standing by, couldn't help but open her mouth wide when she saw Zhou Yi being defeated so easily. Although the emerald green light was released from Huo Yuhao's body, it did not cover Mu Jin behind him, but Mu Jin could still vaguely feel the terrifying chill. "Ha ha ha, Zhou Yi, there will be a day like this for you too, Hibiscus." Laughed out loud. Restraint is above all else. Because of the restraint of her martial spirit, she has never been able to defeat Zhou Yi. Now, Zhou Yi's flames were directly restrained by Huo Yuhao, which was really gratifying. Seeing Huo Yuhao defeat Zhou Yi so easily, Dai Huolbin remembered how he was powerless in Zhou Yi's hands not long ago. How could the gap between soul masters be so huge? He also found out Huo Yuhao's soul power level, which was much higher than his own. Dai Huolbin originally thought that it might be due to his soul power level, and wanted to get back at him later, but it turned out that Huo Yuhao had a twin martial soul with infinite potential. It's totally unacceptable. Moreover, Dai Huolbin had originally planned to use some tricks behind the scenes, but now he thinks it's better to give up. Don't ask for trouble. This is Shrek Academy. Dai Huolbin consoled himself. I couldn't even beat Zhou Yi, who is at the Soul Emperor level. It's not shameful for me to lose to him using my martial soul fusion technique. Ning Tian, who is watching the battle, had a melancholy look on his face. He stretched out his little hand to touch the slightly messy golden hair by his ear. No wonder Huo Yuhao has always been indifferent to the conditions he promised. This level of talent must have been noticed by Shrek a long time ago. Wang Dong was proud of it and said to Xiao Xiao beside him, "See, I told you Yuhao can win. Believe it." First, Yan Shao's and the other man, who arrived late, also revealed their figures and fell from the air. It's time to put an end to this farce once and for all. End of this chapter. Chapter 114. It's you who should get out, Zhou Yi. Seeing Zhou Yi being defeated so easily by Huo Yuhao, Yan Shao's and Du Weilin in the air were of course also very shocked. How long has it been since we saw a Soul Lord defeat a Soul Emperor? The young are truly to be feared, especially Yan Shao's, who is at the Super Douluo level. With his cultivation and vision, he noticed the true essence of this battle. Huo Yuhao's control and application of soul skills are extremely strong, definitely surpassing the vast majority of students in the outer courtyard, and he is even on par with some disciples in the inner courtyard. Take Zhou Yi for example. It looked very impressive that she used 2 10,000-year soul skills in a row, but in fact, she was just releasing the soul skills step by step. I have some understanding of my own, but not much. As for Huo Yuhao, from the looks of it, he only used one soul skill, but in fact, just the control of ice energy is enough for others to learn for a lifetime. With the assistance of powerful mental power and affinity with ice attributes, Huo Yuhao really feels like a fish in water. Sure enough, the Spirit Eye's martial soul definitely has the potential to be as great as the Ice Jade Scorpion. Du Weilin widened his eyes and looked at Yan Shao's in disbelief. Dean, isn't Yuhao too strong? Zhou Yi is a Soul Emperor after all. The difference in soul power between a Soul Emperor and a Soul Master is huge. How could he win so easily? And I think Yuhao hasn't used his full strength yet. He looks like he has it all figured out. The ultimate martial spirit is like this, you don't understand. Although Yan Shao's appeared to be speaking with great sincerity, he was actually shocked by Huo Yuhao's performance. No wonder Xiao Tao has been saying recently that her strength is not enough, and she was even stimulated to go into seclusion. It turns out this is the reason. Thinking of this, Yan Shao's felt relieved. Even the Soul Emperor level Phoenix Flame could hardly suppress Huo Yuhao's Ice Jade Scorpion, let alone Zhou Yi's ordinary Fire Dragon. So what if he is a Soul Emperor with the best soul ring ratio? Whether it was combat awareness or soul power control, Zhou Yi was not at the top level, and even lagged behind those genius Soul Kings. It was reasonable for him to be crushed. Let's go, Weilin. It's time to end this farce. Zhou Yi is relying on Fan Yu to back her up and is becoming more and more lawless and reckless. This is the Wuhan department, and we should teach her a profound lesson this time. After saying that, the two of them revealed their figures and flew over to land between Huo Yuhao and Zhou Yi. Yan Shao's looked at Huo Yuhao, and his gentle voice resounded throughout the audience. Yuhao, please thaw Zhou Yi. I will give all of you justice for her wantonly expelling and punishing students. Seeing The Shrek executives come out to clean up the mess. The onlookers became indignant and applauded, especially the students in class 2 who had just been punished by standing outside. They were gloating over other people's misfortune. Huo Yuhao thought directly. Although Zhou Yi was frozen into an ice sculpture, thanks to her soul emperor level cultivation, her consciousness was not completely frozen. She was still able to think, hear, and see everything in the outside world. Seeing Dean Yan's hint, Duelen spoke first, looking angrily at Zhou Yi, who had broken through the ice. Zhou Yi, I heard from students that you unscrupulously punished students in class and expelled core disciples. Do you know that you were wrong? Zhou Yi was originally punished by Shrek for wantonly expelling senior students. In the end, for the sake of the 8th level soul instructor, he was only demoted and appointed as the head teacher of the freshman class. Duelen had thought she would be more restrained, but it turned out she showed no remorse before the freshman assessment. Zhou Yi had already done whatever he wanted, and the Academic Affairs Office had received many complaints and reports from students' families. Duelen has been harboring a grudge for a long time. In order to clean up her mess now, Zhou Yi has become even more aggressive and even dares to attack core disciples and directly attack students that Dean Yan values. I'm really tired of living. Moreover, as a teacher at the Soul Emperor level, she was taught a lesson by a Soul Master level student. This was truly a first in Shrek Academy, and Duelen was also very surprised hearing Duelen's reprimand. Zhou Yi sneered, "This is my teaching method. Dai Hulbin and the other two must get out of here. Either you let me get out too, or I will teach you this way, you." Duelen was so angry that he really wanted to ask her to get out. What good would it matter if her teaching was effective? So he looked at Yan Xiao's. Yan Xiao's frowned and said to Zhou Yi, "When Wang Yan and Mu Jin came to persuade you, you took the initiative to fight with Mu Jin because of personal grudges. In the end, you even attacked Huo Yuhao, who came to persuade them to stop fighting. Is this true, Dean Yan? There was a reason why Mu Jin and I had a fight. How could she, as the deputy head teacher of Class 1, interfere with the teaching of me, the head teacher of Class 2? She is simply going against the will of heaven." As for Huo Yuhao, he had good intentions in coming to mediate, but he was wrong to insult the teacher. He was simply disrespectful to his elders, so I stepped in to teach Mu Jin a lesson. Humph, so what if he's strong? If such a bad guy was my student, I would be the first to expel him. After Zhou Yi finished speaking, she looked at Huo Yuhao and the other man angrily with her trembling body and righteous words. After taking off her disguise, it was as if she was the victim of this battle. Huo Yuhao did not say anything, but watched Zhou Yi quietly scolding like a shrew and performing her team-making skills. Long before he took action, Tianmeng noticed Yan Xiao's arrival. It was for this reason that Huo Yuhao decided to take direct action and make the matter even more serious. He believed that with his intervention, Zhou Yi would never be able to turn things around, not to mention that her husband is Fan Yu, even if she is Jin Duoto's lover. It will be of no use. Do you understand the value of the next successor to the Sea God Pavilion? You are so shameless, Mu. Jin was the first one to stand up and accuse. She never expected that Zhou Yi would dare to confuse right and wrong like this. A group of students also started cursing, especially those in the previous class, who had been suffering from Zhou Yi for a long time, who wouldn't dare to play in this favorable situation. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that not only Director Du was going to punish Zhou Yi, but even Dean Yan was preparing to punish her. The wall fell and everyone pushed. The trial begins. The students spoke out righteously about the fact that they were oppressed by Zhou Yi, and one by one they exposed the evidence of Zhou Yi's crimes. You are the one who should get out, Zhou Yi. When we were in Class 1, you fired a lot of people under the pretext of physical training. Now that we've been divided into different classes, you're taking advantage of your power as the class teacher to do whatever you want. That's right. If anyone dares to refute her, Zhou Yi will expel him. I have never seen anyone teach like this. He is unworthy of being a teacher. That old lady Zhou Yi is like this. We students just need to listen to her, but as a class teacher, Zhou Yi has to consider a lot more when she expels students without thinking. When he couldn't win the argument verbally, he got so angry that he started fighting. He really has the demeanor of a teacher. In the end, he couldn't win the fight, but he's still talking nonsense here. Is there any justice? Ha ha ha. No wonder that old woman Zhou Yi had to use a human skin mask to disguise herself, otherwise she would have to perform a 3-day perfect stunt every day. Seeing the students who used to respect him turning against him one after another, Zhou Yi was so angry that his chest heaved and turned red, and a burning breath rose up. Humph. Seeing that Zhou Yi was still thinking about the spirit possession, Yan Xiao simply released the aura of the super Douluo slightly, which made Zhou Yi's face turn pale. The students who were chattering around also shut up and waited for Din Yan to speak. Zhou Yi, justice is in the hearts of the people. I declare that you are dismissed. Shrek does not need a teacher like you. After hearing Din Yan's final verdict, Zhou Yi did not dare to resist. She obeyed the order obediently and fled the scene in a daze. Yan Xiao signaled Du Yilan to handle the next task, then turned to look at the colleges and said gently, "Okay, students, go back to class. As for class 2, let Mu Jin take over the get out of class. The academy will assign you a new homeroom teacher tomorrow. Yu Hao will stay for now." It has to be said that this trial initiated by everyone was very participatory, and the final outcome was in line with everyone's wishes and very gratifying, especially Wang Dong. She not only fired the first shot in enumerating the crimes, but was also the most ruthless one among all the students who stabbed Zhou Yi in the back. Now that she has embraced a bright future, she feels that the flow of her soul power has become much smoother, which is a sign of a soul power breakthrough. The students left one by one with joy and excitement, and those who did not want to leave were taken back by the teachers of their classes. Huo Yuhao and Yan Xiao's were the only ones left on the open space. Yan Xiao's looked at Huo Yuhao and asked, "Yuhao, are you satisfied with the champion reward for the freshman assessment?" "Dean, I am very satisfied." Huo Yuhao nodded. "To be honest, the preciousness of this 50,000-year-old skull of the Dread Dragon King is almost the same as the 70,000-year-old ice scorpion's left arm bone in the original book. In fact, without taking the ice explosion into consideration, this skull is even better. It is not only a skull with spiritual attributes, but also contains a trace of pure dark dragon blood. Just like the golden left arm bone in the original book, it is extremely precious. If Huo Yuhao didn't have a better choice later and hadn't reached the bottleneck of his mental power yet, fusing this skull might have been a good choice. If the mental power is too strong, the brain will have problems bearing it, and the skull soul bone is needed to relieve the pressure. Especially Huo Yuhao, his sea of consciousness still resides with the fragments of Yi Lao's consciousness and Bian Meng's spiritual origin. If the mental power breaks through again and reaches the tangible and intangible level, the sea of spirituality may not be able to support the continued improvement of mental power. However, because he had previously fused with a time and space demonized external soul bone, which had an effect better than that of a skull, Huo Yuhao no longer had this problem. "You can improve your mental strength without any worries, skull. Keep improving." Yan Xiao's nodded, "as long as you are satisfied. As for the subsequent spirit rings of the spirit eyes, Yuhao, do you have any needs? The academy can prepare them for you in advance." "What are the requirements for spirit rings?" "That is indeed true." End of this chapter. Chapter 115, Inner Court Disciple? Absurd. After careful consideration, Huo Yuhao explained the requirements of the two soul beasts. An evil eye tyrant or mirror shadow beast that is about 30,000 to 40,000 years old will do. If it's silver ying beast, that's not impossible. As for the dark demon evil god tiger, it's better to just go to bed. The dark demon evil god tiger of this age is already strong enough to fight against a title Douluo. If Shrek does not deploy its highest combat power, it will probably not be able to capture it. After hearing Huo Yuhao's request, Yan Xiao's fell silent. After a long while, he continued, "The academy will pay attention to these soul beasts. But Yuhao, if you can break through to the soul sect when you first enter the second year, there will be another surprise." Yan Xiao's relationship, friends achievement mission, selection of students for the soul master competition. Looking at the task on Yan Xiao's head, Huo Yuhao immediately understood what he was thinking and said with a smile, "Is it the All-Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Soul Fighting Competition next year?" Yan Xiao's nodded approvingly. "Yes, with your current strength, it is a sure thing for you to enter the reserve team." But, Yan Xiao stroked his beard with a smile, "With your special status as an inner court disciple, I can apply for a place for you in the regular selection team. As long as you can reach the soul sect level before the selection of the reserve team, you can enter the regular selection team." Seeing that Huo Yuhao seemed to be interested in the soul master competition, Yan Xiao's quickly changed the subject. "What about Mirror Beast and Silver Beast? Aren't they extinct? Where can they find them? There is also the Evil Eye Tyrant. The Evil Eye Tyrants live in groups in the Demon Forest, and even more so in the territory of the Sun and Moon Empire, so it is not easy to deal with them." This kid Huo Yuhao really gave him a difficult problem. The main team. Alright, Huo Yuhao felt amused. Join the main team and give heads to the Grim Reaper. However, This time he's here, and the mere Grim Reaper will definitely not be able to return. Of course, Huo Yuhao would not meddle in other people's business. It would be very reasonable if there was a disobedient white tiger martial spirit owner who was seriously injured by the corpse explosion afterwards. The two exchanged a few pleasantries and Huo Yuhao returned to the classroom to continue his class. It just so happened that Du Weilan had just finished handling Zhou Yi's resignation and came back to report, "Dean, Zhou Yi's resignation has been completed." "What did Fan Yu say, Yan?" Xiao snorted coldly and said forcefully, "Just say what you need to say. Tell Fan Yu to take care of his wife. Zhou Yi has brought so many negative influences to the academy over the years. Do you really think the academy won't investigate? I will talk to Jin Duado about this later. The Soul Guidance Department has really stretched their hands too far." Achievement. Triggered. Achieve the achievement of seeing the dragon in the field and receive the reward of self-reliance goo. Self-reliance goo, level 3 goo, healing type. The more energy you have, the better the effect. Evaluation, showing his talent and making a name for himself. Although Zhou Yi's achievement mission was lost, there was a personal achievement, especially since it makes up for Huo Yuhao's current shortcomings in treatment. It's a huge profit. Back to class 1, as soon as Huo Yuhao walked into the classroom, he received a warm welcome. Everyone spontaneously applauded for the returning hero, as if the Dragon King had returned. "Welcome back, squad leader." "Squad leader, we respect your teeth." "Squad leader, so handsome." "Those are twin martial spirits." Although the deputy squad leader Xiao also has twin martial spirits, there is still a gap between them. In particular, everyone witnessed with their own eyes the scene where Huo Yuhao defeated his teacher, who was a soul emperor, with his soul master cultivation. It was so terrifying. As Huo Yuhao took his seat, the long-delayed freshman course started again. Seeing that everyone was somewhat absent-minded, Wang Yan slowly spoke from the podium. "In fact, with Huo Yuhao's talent and strength, he has passed the Shrek Inner Court selection not long ago and has been officially approved to enter the Inner Court. When Yuhao's spirit power level is high enough, he will enter the Inner Court to study. Everyone should cherish the time they spend with Yuhao." This was also what Yan Xiaozi had just told him. As for Huo Yuhao's entry into the inner courtyard, it would be better to announce it openly, so that there would be no blind people who would continue to provoke him. Wang Yan was shocked and sighed at this. Although Zhou Yi's teaching method was controversial, she did teach many outstanding students, some of whom even entered the inner courtyard. However, it is only a matter of time before the indiscriminate expulsion of students will lead to backlash. Isn't this hitting a brick wall? He deserves it. Is Huo Yuhao already an inner court disciple? As soon as this statement came out, everyone in the audience was shocked. It's been less than 3 months, and he's already an inner court disciple? This is outrageous. But after everyone thought about it carefully, it seemed quite reasonable. Others can beat soul emperors, so entering the inner courtyard is not an easy thing. While everyone was still fighting for the freshman assessment, Huo Yuhao had already successfully entered the legendary Shrek Inner Court. The gap between people is really too big. They couldn't even see Huo Yuhao's back, so they couldn't feel jealous at all. Some of them only have the purest admiration for the strong Wang Dong and Xiao looked at the shocked crowd and felt secretly happy as Huo Yuhao's former roommate. Wang Dong was naturally the first one to know that Huo Yuhao had become an inner court disciple. Xiao also learned about this during one of her many barbecues on Poseidon Island, and she was shocked beyond words because of this. The two of them practiced extra hard, and the progress in improving their soul power was in the first echelon among all the freshmen. Although their team of 3 was able to take 3rd place due to a certain amount of luck, one cannot deny the actual fighting power of the two. It can be said that except for Huo Yuhao, they are capable of fighting against any team. Wu Fen quietly looked at Huo Yuhao, who was the center of everyone's attention, and couldn't help but be dazed. That handsome face was reflected in her red eyes. After a moment, she shook her head hard to get rid of the distracting thoughts in her mind. I am the young master's man, and I can't be as casual as other people in the class. Moreover, the fact that Huo Yuhao has entered the inner courtyard is of great importance and must be reported to the young master. That's right. In addition to continuing her training in this freshman class, she also had a secret mission that Ningguang specifically assigned to her, that is to observe Huo Yuhao. Wu Fen not only has to scout the enemy situation for Ningguang, but also has to report important events that happen to Ningguang in a timely manner. Wu Fen personally felt that the fact that Huo Yuhao had already entered the inner courtyard was extremely important. She must report promptly after school in the morning. The time comes in the afternoon after the classes were divided. We return to the normal class schedule. Classes for all grades in the Wuhan Outer Academy end at 4 p.m. every afternoon. Which means there is still a long time before dark. It is also during this stage that many students will rush to go directly to the cafeteria to eat. Huo Yuhao was not so anxious after all. He went to the inner courtyard to eat, where he was treated very well, and he didn't have to compete for seats with the numerous students from the outer courtyard. With a smile on his face, he responded to the kindness of his classmates around him. When he reached the door, Huo Yuhao looked thoughtfully in the direction of the freshman classroom. Not far away, a blonde girl was standing there quietly, with a faint smile on her pretty face. It was Ningdian, who was assigned to class 3. Huo Yuhao had a hunch that Ningdian was most likely here to find him. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116. Three people go together. Wu Feng followed everyone out of the classroom. When he saw Ningdian, he immediately quickened his pace excitedly and took the initiative to greet him. But before she could shout, the smile on Wu Feng's face froze. Wu Feng then realized that Ningdian didn't even see her, but was concentrating on chatting with Huo Yuhao. Wu Feng's red eyes darkened, and then he laughed at himself. Was this considered as tying himself up in knots? After all, at noon, it was me who told Ningdian that Huo Yuhao had become an inner court disciple. Coupled with the exposure of Huo Yuhao's twin martial spirits, Ningdian had even more thoughts in his mind because of Ningdian's arrival. The expressions of several female students from the freshman class who were traveling with Huo Yuhao were a little unnatural. After saying goodbye, they left in a hurry. In their eyes, Ningdian's appearance, especially the graceful temperament emanating from his inside out, is indeed more beautiful than any other woman. Coupled with his identity and background, it is inevitable that they feel a little ashamed of themselves. Only Wang Dong was left standing beside Huo Yuhao. As for Xiao, she followed Wang Yan after school because she had some class affairs to take care of. Wang Dong narrowed his eyes slightly and said straight to the point, "Ningxian, what can I do for you?" Wang Dong did sense a hint of threat from the young master of the Nine Treasures glazed tile sect, especially from the other party's perseverance. Even though he had been rejected by Huo Yuhao many times, he still came to him so openly and in such a high-profile manner. He is simply shameless. Student Wang Dong, I'm here to look for Yuhao, Ning. Tian stated his purpose generously, then took out 2 forms from the golden ring-shaped storage soul guide on his right index finger and continued, I heard that Yuhao is quite interested in soul guides. It just so happens that I got 2 forms for applying for soul guide electives from our class 3 teacher. Would you like to join us, Yuhao? If you, Wang Dong, are also interested, you can go to the soul guide department with us later. What? Wang Dong looked at Ningdian with an unfriendly expression. This guy keeps calling Yuhao, as if their relationship is very close. We have only been classmates for 3 months, and our relationship is just class monitor and vice class monitor. It's totally nonsense. However, speaking of this soul guide device, Wang Dong is indeed quite interested in it. It was like a storage soul guide, which helped Wang Dong a lot. Moreover, having joined the Tang sect for so long, Wang Dong had also learned from Bei and Tang the culprit that led to the decline of Tang sect's hidden weapons. The soul guide, just like what senior brother Bei said, for the rise of the Tang sect, they must revive the hidden weapons. How to revive the hidden weapons? Only by combining hidden weapons with soul guides to create new hidden weapons that conform to the trend of the times can the glory of the Tang sect be restored. Wang Dong also has some knowledge about attack-type soul guides for soul masters like them whose soul power levels are not high. Soul guides are indeed good helpers and can greatly improve the soul master's attack range, especially for a pure auxiliary soul master like Ningdian. Using soul guides is even more powerful. If the use of soul guides was not prohibited in the freshman assessment, the outcome of some competitions might have been changed then. The two of them looked at Huo Yuhao, waiting for each other's answer. Soul guidance equipment elective. Looking at the expressions of the two people, Huo Yuhao's heart was slightly moved. After passing the freshman assessment and becoming official students, students can indeed choose to take soul guide courses. It all depends on personal willingness. Some soul masters who are interested in soul guidance or soul guidance devices can choose to take soul guidance device courses in their spare time without delaying the courses of the martial soul department. For example, Bibi and Tang, you both chose soul guidance devices, although according to the rules and regulations, you must wait until the third year to choose the final department before you can truly enter the soul guidance department. However, if the freshmen have a talent for soul guides, they can also leave the martial soul department and go to the soul guide department in advance through the recommendation of the class teacher. Of course, most of these soul masters are in classes 3 and 4. For example, Class 1 and Class 2 are mainly focused on training traditional soul masters. The head teachers of the two classes basically will not actively suggest the students in the class to take the soul guidance department elective, let alone recommend them. They are all good talents in the martial spirit system. Why don't they cultivate powerful martial spirits and instead learn those messy things? Concentrating on martial spirit is the right way. However, the situations of Class 3, which is composed entirely of auxiliary-type soul masters, and Class 4, which is mainly composed of food-type and healing-type soul masters, are different because of their martial spirits. Most students in the class lack combat or defensive capabilities, so it is indeed necessary to also practice soul guides. Therefore, Classes 3 and 4 have the largest number of students choosing to study the soul guidance department. That's right, practice soul guides at the same time. Ning Tian spoke again, with an unknown light flashing in his eyes. The reason why she did not rashly stay in Class 1 for Huo Yuhao was because of the soul guide. The failure in the freshman assessment also taught Ningtian a lesson. Although they were unlucky to meet Huo Yuhao in advance, but if she really meets Wang Dong's group or Dai Huoben's group, she will realize after watching the subsequent competitions that it will definitely be a thankless task. Although Huo Yuhao could easily destroy the netherworld white tiger with his martial soul fusion skill, it was still a difficult existence to resist for the freshman whose highest cultivation level was only soul master. However, neither the glory of the 9 treasures glazed tile sect nor the pride of the sect's little princess would allow Ningtian to give up and admit defeat. Ningtian knew that he was just an auxiliary weapon spirit master and did not have the powerful strength of other combat spirit masters. The 7 treasures glazed tower has no combat capability. After the auxiliary system uses up its soul skills, it is just a spectator on the battlefield and even has to distract its teammates to protect itself. However, times have changed. Because of the emergence of soul guides, the auxiliary system is no longer a purely auxiliary system, and the 7 treasures glazed tower does not have to cling to fighting soul masters like a daughter and leave the fate of victory or defeat to others. Because of the special nature of their martial souls and some historical reasons, their Jiubeoliuli sect actually began to strongly support their disciples in learning and using soul guides very early on. Now, as the young sect leader, she also intends to lead by example. Looking at Wang Dong, who was eager to try, and Ningtian, who was determined, Huo Yuhao said gently, "Well, the 3 of us will go to the soul guidance department to take a look." In fact, Huo Yuhao himself is willing to learn and use soul guides, and he also strongly supports the development of soul guides. But if you talk about production, you can learn, but only a little. Although the soul guide can be considered a version benefit, it is of little help to top combat forces. After all, the pinnacle of soul guides during the peerless Tang sect period was the 10th level soul guide Silver Moon Divine Light Shield, owned by Kong Deming of the Sun Moon Empire, but it posed almost no threat to the almighty gods. The price-performance ratio is really not high, although Huo Yuhao's talent in soul guides can be said to be at its maximum. However, the technological development of soul guides is not something that can be achieved by one person in one day. At this stage, even battle armor cannot be produced, let alone soul guides that can threaten the gods. But that's what I say under the premise of not delaying the cultivation of soul power. Occasionally learning the skill of a soul guide device for auxiliary use is also a good choice, and Huo Yuhao was also somewhat curious as to whether Wang Dong could use those combat-type soul guides now. End of this chapter. Chapter 117. The soul guidance department's path has become broader. The conversation heard by the 3. The onlookers on the sidelines? What's going on? The 2 most handsome boys in the class are running away with that girl from another class. Why are they going to the soul guidance department? This is clearly just an excuse. Where's Xiaoxio? Save her. So, under the strange gazes of everyone, Huo Yuhao took Wang Dong and Ningtian and walked towards the soul guidance department in the northwest direction of Shrek Academy. Not long after, the 3 stopped in front of a huge building. The teaching building was already large, but it was dwarfed by the rectangular gray building in front of him. The total area of this building was probably comparable to the dormitory building of the Wuhan department. The gray building looked very heavy. Not only was it made of bricks and stones, but there were also many places on the surface with a metallic luster. A lower ore continued to appear in the building, even causing slight vibrations under the feet of the three people. Well, the sound insulation is a bit worrying. Wang Dong turned around and asked hesitantly, Yuhao, are we in the wrong place? Yes, it is here. You will know when you go in and take a look. Ho. Yuhao nodded and pointed to a sign next to him, which read Soul Guidance Equipment Testing Area. The three of them walked towards the Soul Guide Test Area. As soon as they entered, they discovered that the Soul Guide Test Area was entirely made of metal structure, composed of a dark brown metal. After entering the door, there is a long horizontal corridor, which looks a bit like the dormitory area, but there is only a door every 30 meters on one side, with words like Test Area Number 1 and Test Area Number 2 written on them. What should I do next? Should I find a teacher? Wang Dong looked at Ningtian. Ningtian thought for a moment and said slowly, my homeroom teacher asked me to go to gate number 12 of the experimental area to find teacher Fan Yu. What? Fan Yu? Yuhao? Isn't he Zhou Yi's husband? Wang Dong was furious when she heard the name. She looked at Huo Yuhao with some concern. Is this really okay? It's not a big problem. Huo Yuhao naturally knew what Wang Dong meant. He had told him at the beginning that Zhou Yi's husband was the 8th level soul mentor Fan Yu. Is there anything wrong with Fan Yu? Ning Tian looked confused, but after Wang Dong's explanation, she understood the reason behind the incident. No wonder Zhou Yi is so arrogant in the outer courtyard. It turns out she has a pretty good background. How about we go directly to Director Du Whelan? In fact, we can also hand in the Soul Guidance Department elective form to Director Du. Ning Tian also began to back down. Originally, she planned to broaden her horizons while submitting her elective form, but she didn't expect it to be such a coincidence that Huo Yuhao and Fan Yu actually had such a relationship. Ningtian was naturally present when Huo Yuhao beat Zhou Yi violently. Although it was indeed all Zhou Yi's fault, however, most people help their relatives but not others. It would be bad if Fan Yu took this opportunity to deliberately embarrass Huo Yuhao. Don't worry, in the Soul Guidance Department, Fan Yu is not someone who can cover the sky with one hand. In order to reassure the two, Huo Yuhao took out a hexagonal crystal warrant and showed it to them. What is this? The two of them were a little curious. Huo Yuhao explained, this is the warrant given to me by Vice Dean Jin Duado of the Soul Guidance Department. With it, I can enter and exit any part of the Soul Guidance Department at will. Just after Huo Yuhao won the championship in the freshman assessment, Jin Duado also gave Huo Yuhao a special visit. At that time, Jin Duado directly tested Huo Yuhao's attitude towards soul guides in front of Yan Xiao's student. Ho, I wonder what you think of soul guides. At that time, it happened in front of Yan Xiao's and Jin Duado. Huo Yuhao said this confidently. Vice President Jin, I personally do not reject the use of soul guides, especially since my spirit eye's martial soul is of the spiritual nature. I think soul guides should be quite suitable for me. However, my current focus of cultivation will still be on the martial soul itself. After all, the foundation of a soul master is the martial soul, and I cannot waste my talent in this area. Although Huo Yuhao was already an inner court disciple and a member of the martial soul department, it did not prevent him from accepting resources from the Soul Guidance Department. Just like Hogwa in the original novel, it is not a problem for him to eat both the martial spirit system and the soul guidance system. As expected, after hearing Huo Yuhao's perfect answer, not only Jin Duado was very appreciative, but Yan Xiao's was also satisfied. Afterwards, the two deans, who were arguing with each other, both gave personal commendations to Huo Yuhao for winning the championship. Jin Duado first gave him the warrant and said that the door of the Soul Guidance Department was always open to him. Yan Xiao's did not give in at all and gave Huo Yuhao 3 soul upgrading pills as a reward, encouraging him to keep up the good work. All three felt they had made a profit. Everyone has a bright future. That is why he is regarded as a big shot in the eyes of the two deans. Huo Yuhao was not afraid at all of the possible threats posed by Fan Yu. What's more, Huo Yuhao felt that if he could get rid of Zhou Yi, the scourge for him, it would also be a good thing for Fan Yu himself. Fan Yu himself might have been relieved that Zhou Yi, the troublemaker, had left. That's good seeing Huo Yuhao so confident. Wang Dong and the others breathed a sigh of relief, and then followed him to gate number 12 of the experimental area at the end of the corridor. Afterwards, Huo Yuhao pressed the token on the gate of experimental area number 12. There was a crack in the door, just enough to accommodate the token. After a brief spiritual fluctuation, the token bounced up from the gap. Then, with a clacking sound, the door of experimental area number 12 opened horizontally. Once the door opened, there was a different world inside. Thick metal plates divided the place into different areas, just like metal boxes. Boom. As soon as they entered the door, Wang Dong and Ningtian were startled by a loud noise. A strong shock force mixed with airflow fluctuations came towards them, making the skull uniforms of the three people rustle. The spiritual detection was activated, and Huo Yuhao led the two of them and soon arrived at the largest area. This was an open space, about 2,000 square meters in size. On the way, the three of them met a kind senior. The senior was stunned when he saw the white skull uniforms of Huo Yuhao and the other two. Then he noticed the crystal token on Huo Yuhao's right hand and said in surprise, "Are you Huo Yuhao?" "Well, it's me." "So, who are these two junior students?" "They are here to submit their forms and prepare to take the soul guidance course." So, with the introduction of the enthusiastic senior, the three of them met Fan Yu, teacher. Fan Yu, hearing the senior's words, a tall middle-aged man at the edge of the venue frowned slightly and strode towards them. The middle-aged man was about 1.8 meters tall, with very broad shoulders. He was wearing a simple cloth shirt, and his thick and strong arms were exposed, revealing muscles like granite. There are clear lines on his face, and his eyes are deep and heavy. When he stands there, he gives people a sense of standing like a mountain. Fan Yu walked over and immediately noticed Huo Yuhao's presence. His eyes lit up. "Yuhao? Are you here to take the Soul Guide course?" The corner of Huo Yuhao's mouth curled up slightly. "The road of the Soul Guidance Department has become wider. I'll come over to take a look." They are Ningtian and Wang Dong. They are both co-disciples among our freshmen. They are also very interested in soul guides. Although Ningtian was surprised by Fan Yu's attitude, he quickly reacted and smiled appropriately. "Hello, Teacher Fan Yu. My name is Ningtian, and I want to take the soul guidance course." Wang Dong looked at Huo Yuhao's encouraging expression and opened his mouth in shock. He then replied, "Hello, Teacher Fan Yu, I'm Wang Dong. I just came to take a look. It's strange. Why do I feel like something is wrong?" End of this chapter. Chapter 118, Customized Soul Guidance Device. "Okay, in that case, follow me." After Fan Yu finished speaking, he turned around and strode towards the testing area. Tao, come here. Fan Yu waved to the group of people not far away, and then one of the young men ran over quickly. The boy who came in front of the three people, judging from his face, was about the same age as Bibi, with a simple and honest face, but he was extremely tall, more than 2 meters tall, with shoulders even broader than Fan Yu. His upper body was naked, revealing dark muscles, and there was no hair on his head. Moreover, compared with ordinary people, he was much darker. When Tao saw Ningtian, a very beautiful girl, his face turned red, and he quickly took out a loose piece of clothing from his soul guide and put it on. "Teacher." Tao saluted Fan Yu respectfully. Fan Yu pointed at the three people and said, "Test fire a fixed-type soul guide cannon and show it to them." 3. Yes. The dark-skinned young man did not ask anything, and then smiled innocently at Huo Yuhao and the other two. "Hello, juniors. My name is Tao. Everyone calls me Tao. You can call me the two. Follow me." "Hello, brother." My name is Ningtian." "Hello, brother." My name is Wang Dong." "Hello, senior." My name is Huo Yuhao." Hearing the polite greetings from the three, Tao was stunned for a moment, then he gave them a thumbs up and said, "Younger students, you are really good. You are here to see the power of soul guides, right? I will show you a good performance later." The three of them came to the edge of the test site, and Tao slapped the dark belt around his waist. With a flash of light, a black metal tube about 1.5 meters long appeared in his hand. The cross-sectional diameter of the metal tube is about 15 centimeters, and the tail is even thicker, with many strange patterns engraved on it. Tao took it in his hand very skillfully, and pressed the back of the metal tube twice with his right hand, and a cover popped out, revealing a gap about 20 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide. With his left hand, he took out a shuttle-shaped metal from the storage soul guide on his waist and stuffed it into the gap, then closed the cover with a raise of his right hand. The metal pipe was on his broad shoulders. Tao, who had previously given people a very honest feeling, suddenly changed his temperament the moment the metal pipe was placed on his shoulders, giving people a strong sense of crisis. "Since you are interested in soul guides, let's start by understanding this fixed-type soul guide cannon." Fan Yu's voice sounded behind everyone. Under normal circumstances, he would definitely not do this. "Want to take the soul guide course?" "Just to prove it, but Huo Yuhao is different. As the most suitable candidate in Fan Yu and Jin Duoduo's extreme individual plan, Fan Yu wants to try his best to retain him. If he can arouse his interest through the power of the fixed-type soul guide, it will be a huge profit. Fan Yu believes that no matter who it is, they can feel the beauty of the fixed-type soul guide. Cannon art is a blast. Tao, let's start. After Fan Yu gave his instructions, Tao also yelled. At this moment, a strong fluctuation of soul power erupted from Tao. 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, appeared at the same time. The metal tube on his shoulder seemed to be vibrating slightly, and a thick black halo flowed on the surface of the metal tube. Boom! A loud roar was heard, and a dazzling black light instantly burst out from the metal tube. The sudden huge airflow blew up the hair of Huo Yuhao and his 2 companions not far away. After crossing a distance of 100 meters, the black light slammed heavily into the metal plate at the far end, causing a violent roar. The huge airflow bounced back. Huo Yuhao stretched out his right hand, and as his soul power surged, a soul power shield formed to protect the 3 of them. The airflow lasted for several seconds before gradually stabilizing. Fan Yu's explanation sounded at the right time. I have been devoted to the research of fixed-type soul guides for more than 10 years. It is also by combining the experience and wisdom of my predecessors that I have developed this special soul guide. Simply put, it is to divide the soul guide and the attack weapon into 2 parts. The soul guide only plays a role in launching and detonating. The fixed-type soul guide cannon used by Tao just now is to launch the shells. The biggest advantage of a fixed soul guide is that it consumes very little soul power and does not require a very strong cultivation to use. For a fixed target, its power is very strong. In theory, it can increase a soul master's attack power 10-fold. However, due to the influence of the material, the power of a fixed soul guide is also limited, and it is extremely expensive. So it is destined to be equipped with only a very small number of soul masters who are suitable for using it. And in my opinion, there are people among you who are very suitable for using it. Fan Yu looked at Huo Yuhao with burning eyes. He did not mention much about the shortcomings of fixed-type soul guides, because in addition to being extremely expensive, there is a lack of users. Fixed-type soul guides are difficult to locate, especially when targeting moving targets. It is particularly difficult to hit accurately. So usually you can only hit fixed targets. Therefore, it is destined not to be used on a large scale, but Fan Yu believes that as long as a very small number of soul masters can use it, it will inevitably become the real killer of Shrek Academy. Soul guides are originally powerful weapons that can only be used by a few particularly outstanding soul masters. As for Huo Yuhao, who possesses a spiritual spirit, if he could have a locking or reconnaissance type spiritual auxiliary spirit skill, he would definitely be the perfect user. Looking at the power caused by the artillery shells in front of him, Ningqian's eyes were filled with shock. Fixed soul guide? Before going to the soul guidance department today, she also made some cram school on the knowledge of soul guides and had some understanding of them. There are many types of soul guides, mainly short-range soul guides and long-range soul guides. Short-range soul guides are similar to the weapons that soul masters usually use. After being stimulated by soul power, they burst out with stronger power. Long-range soul guides are soul guides that launch long-range attacks through the injection of soul power. The fixed soul guide used by Tao is completely beyond her imagination. Ningqian believes that he is very suitable to be a soul master of the 9 treasures glazed tile sect, because although the 7 treasures glazed pagoda martial spirit has a strong auxiliary effect, it also consumes a lot of soul power. For this reason, the 9 treasures glazed pagoda sect has also specially developed a unique skill of distraction control, the purpose of which is to reduce soul power consumption. As for the high cost, being wealthy, she said it was not a problem at all. I can only say that he is worthy of being an 8th level soul engineer, and the things he researched are full of potential. Wang Dong couldn't help but clench his fists. Is this the soul guide? Growing up in the Haoshan sect, as a very traditional strong attack spirit master, Wang Dong had indeed previously rejected foreign products such as spirit guides from the bottom of his heart, but looking at the tremendous power of the soul guide cannon, she felt that her heart was a little unstable. The hidden weapon techniques she had practiced hard before were completely vulnerable in front of it, although senior sister Tang said that some advanced mechanical hidden weapons have power comparable to soul guides. Is this really the case? This time I followed Yuhao here, more because I wanted to broaden my horizons, see the power of the soul guide. And by the way, prevent Ningqian from sneaking away. If you really want to say how much Wang Dong wants to learn soul guidance, It's actually not the case, although senior brother BB had said before that combining hidden weapons and soul guides would bring new vitality to the Tang sect, but in Wang Dong's opinion, it is actually a bit far-fetched to be honest. They didn't even understand hidden weapons, let alone soul guides. It would be better to use that time to cultivate my twin martial spirits. But now, after He Keitao's attack, Wang Dong was slightly shaken. Perhaps I should also study this soul guidance department to take a deeper look? Even if you can't make it, at least you should know how to use it for the development of the Tang sect. We should really put aside our prejudices. As such thoughts arose, Wang Dong frowned slightly, and a strange feeling of irritation inexplicably arose in her heart and her mind. There seemed to be another consciousness rejecting the soul guide. Weird. However, the more he opposed that idea, the more serious Wang Dong's rebellious psychology became. Wang Dong believed that he could definitely do it by just studying the soul guidance system. As well as for Huo Yuhao, he was ready to take action. Now that you're here, you should show your value, right? Otherwise, how can we get funding from the soul guidance department in the future? If you want a horse to run, you can't not give it grass, right? Of course, the achievement mission on Fan Yu's head was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Sailing feather relationship, acquaintance achievement mission. This boy, don't miss it. Just study this soul guidance system as well, as long as you have hands. End of this chapter. Chapter 119. If God doesn't take what he wants, he will suffer the consequences. Teacher Fan Yu, can I try it myself? Huo Yuhao said confidently, I think my spirit eyes martial soul is quite suitable for this kind of soul guide. Well, Keitao, you tell Yuhao the specific method of using the fixed soul guide device. Fan Yu did not hesitate at all. In fact, these three core disciples in front of him are all very popular in his eyes. Although Shrek Academy followed a mainland trend and opened a soul guidance department, due to its own pride and historical issues, the top management of Shrek Academy has not paid much attention to the soul guidance department. This school spirit has affected countless students from top to bottom. This was especially true for the inner court disciples, who still insisted on being proud of their traditions, refusing to learn how to make soul guides, and even resolutely rejecting the use of combat-type soul guides. The three people in front of him were extremely talented, and the probability of them becoming inner court disciples in the future was not 100%, but at least 90%. For students of this level, the soul guidance department is simply no match for the martial soul department. Now, the three of them came to him on their own initiative, and Fan Yu was very welcoming. Even if they did not choose the soul guidance department in their third year, at least it would allow the other party to have a better understanding of the soul guidance department and be less prejudiced. The method of using the fixed type soul guide cannon is very simple. After giving a few simple instructions to Keitao, he handed the black gun barrel to Huo Yuhao. Brother Yuhao, come on, but you have to be careful. Although the fixed type soul guide cannon does not require much soul power, it is very powerful. You have to be careful to control the target. It was also because of Fan Yu's presence, and the fact that Huo Yuhao had shown some skill in resisting air currents and bulletproofing before, that Keitao still had great faith in this handsome and extraordinary junior brother in front of him, and did not look down on him just because he was a freshman. Huo Yuhao smiled and nodded, then looked at Fan Yu. Teacher Fan Yu, there should be a moving target, right? Moving targets. Fan Yu raised his eyebrows, looked at Huo Yuhao deeply, and then shouted, okay, 3 moving targets, fire. The other side seemed to be controlled by someone. With a whoosh, 3 disc-like objects shot out from a distant corner and flew straight towards Huo Yuhao. Keitao's eyes were full of confusion, but he still reminded, Yuhao, a moving target is difficult to hit. Even I can't accurately hide a moving target at this speed. Be mentally prepared. Keitao has been learning how to make and use soul guides from Fan Yu for many years, and has become very proficient in the use of fixed-type soul guide cannons, but it was still difficult for him to hit the moving target. Hitting the moving target once in 10 attempts was already a very good result. Fortunately, Fan Yu also took this into consideration and arranged 3 moving targets for Huo Yuhao, which greatly increased the probability of hitting the target. Although it's still better than nothing, Huo Yuhao took the fixed-type soul guide shell that Keitao carefully gave him and quickly installed it. Looking at the disc's chaotic flight trajectory, Huo Yuhao took action. With the appearance of the spirit eyes martial spirit, the originally deep blue eyes turned into purple gold in an instant. 3 soul rings of yellow, purple and purple rose from under his feet after the freshman assessment. The external manifestations of Huo Yuhao's current soul skills have been fixed. The first soul skill is a mental attack type, the second soul skill is simulation, And the third soul skill is teleportation. Therefore, he had no intention of using mental detection. Of course, there is no need for that. The passive effect brought by the spirit eye's martial spirit alone has further enhanced his dynamic vision, allowing him to easily capture the flight trajectory of a fast-moving disc. He stared intently for a while under the extremely surprised gazes of the crowd. Huo Yuhao's soul power fluctuations exploded, and a ball of dazzling black light burst out from the metal barrel. Bang! Bang bang! A series of metal collision sounds were heard. The black light actually hit the 3 discs in succession. Under the push of the Soul God Cannon, they were superimposed on each other and hit the metal plate at the far end. A violent roar sounded, accompanied by a huge airflow, which was directly dissolved by Huo Yuhao. Silently, the people present no longer cared about this, and instead looked at Huo Yuhao in disbelief. 1 shot, 3 explosions. When the Soul God Cannon was initially fired, Ningqian still looked worried. After watching the demonstration with her senior and hearing Fan Yu's explanation, she was able to see the disadvantages of the fixed-type Soul God Cannon facing a moving target. One is willing but unable to do anything. This was indeed the case. The disc was moving very fast. Even with her cultivation as a Soul Master, it was difficult for her to capture its trajectory. Moreover, in her field of vision, the firing time of the Soul God Cannon obviously did not match the flight trajectory of the disc, and it was clearly fired towards the metal plate in the distance. As a result, Huo Yuhao had predicted everything. He Tao was completely stunned. He never expected this result. It turned out that the clown was himself, although he could tell Tao that it was because Soul God shells were expensive and he himself did not have much practice with moving targets. But it was clear that junior brother Yuhao was also coming into contact with a fixed-type Soul God Cannon. For the first time, such an exaggerated performance directly surpassed himself, who had been immersed in Soul Guides for many years. Is this genius? Is this the spiritual martial soul that the teacher has been thinking about? It is indeed powerful. Fan Yu's gaze towards Huo Yuhao was even more scorching. He is indeed a genius chosen by Vice President Jin, and is even more amazing than he imagined. The flying speed of the disc simulated the speed of a Soul Sect member at the agility attack level. In Fan Yu's estimation, if Huo Yuhao could hit 1 out of 3, it would already be an overestimation. The result was a direct hit on his face. Fan Yu was not angry because of his misjudgment. On the contrary, he was very excited and only regretted that he could not immediately pull Huo Yuhao into the Soul Guidance system. As for the other Soul Guidance Department teachers and students who were attracted by the movement of the Soul Guidance Cannon, they were all stunned. For people in the Soul Guidance Department, Huo Yuhao's soul ring configuration is already very shocking, but it is far inferior to the scene before his eyes. The only person present who had complete trust in Huo Yuhao was Wang Dong. With her purple demon pupils, Wang Dong could barely see the flight trajectory of the disc, and even vaguely guessed Huo Yuhao's thoughts. Sure enough, the result of 1 against 3 appeared. Wang Dong's big pale blue eyes flickered and shone brightly. Even the inexplicable feeling of rejection of soul guides in his mind had dissipated a lot. Very good, Yuhao. You are simply the soul master most suitable for using fixed-type soul guides. Fan Yu could not find a single flaw in Huo Yuhao's perfect performance. Can you tell me how you did it? Did you use any soul skills? Although Fan Yu did not see the spirit ring shining, he still asked tentatively, "It's not a soul skill, it's my martial soul talent. As long as the spirit eye possesses me, I can do it easily." Huo Yuhao explained and then returned the metal barrel to Tao, who was still in a dazed state. "Martial soul talent, Fan Yu murmured something in a low voice, and then left without looking back, leaving only one sentence. Tao, take Yuhao and the other 2 to learn about other types of soul guides first. Report, must report." Huo Yuhao is a genius who fits perfectly into their soul guidance department, like a gift from God. If God does not take it, he will suffer the consequences. Fan Yu plans to ask Dean Xianliner for help. Even if Yuhao cannot be kept in the soul guidance department, at least the soul guidance department should be given some benefit, right? End of this chapter. Chapter 120. Xianliner, I will take action. The soul guidance department is divided into many experimental areas, each with a number hung on the door. After Fan Yu rushed out of the number 12 test area, he ran directly to the number 1 test area. He kicked open the metal door without any hesitation and shouted, "Is Dean Jin here?" In the number 1 experimental area, several soul guide students and teachers were fiddling with soul guide devices. Upon hearing this, they looked in the direction of Fan Yu, wanting to see who was so arrogant. Seeing that it was an acquaintance, they immersed themselves in the study of soul guides again. Although they didn't know why teacher Fan Yu was so excited today, they didn't want to explore it. They still thought the soul guides in their hands were interesting. Hearing the sound, two figures walked towards Fan Yu. The tall man on the left is Jin Duado, the vice president of the Soul Guidance Department. The woman on the right is about 1.7 meters tall and looks to be in her 50s. Although she is a bit old, one can still glimpse her youthful beauty from her eyes and brows. Her black hair is neatly tied up, and the cold look between her eyebrows and eyes reveals an air of arrogance. It was the dean of the Soul Guidance Department, Xian Liner. Meet the two deans. Fan Yu looked delighted. What a coincidence. Dean Xian Liner was also there. Well, no need to be polite. The three of them came to a quiet place to talk. Fan Yu, is there something wrong? Why are you so irritable? Jin Duado asked first. Fan Yu also got straight to the point. Dean Jin, Huo Yuhao just came to the Soul Guidance Department and personally tested the fixed-type Soul Guide Cannon. Xian Liner nodded. We already know that classmate Yuhao is here. I am here to discuss this matter with Jin Duado. Hearing this, Fan Yu also became excited. Two deans, I think we must keep Huo Yuhao in the Soul Guidance Department. With him, the development of the Soul Guidance Department will surely flourish. Jin Duado sighed helplessly. Fan Yu, you are right. Yuhao's spirit eyes martial soul is really too consistent with our extreme single soldier plan, but because of the twin martial souls, the martial soul department will never let go. What? Twin martial spirits? Fan Yu was extremely shocked. Xian Liner snorted coldly. Just this morning, your Zhou Yi was fired by Yan Xiaos. It was also related to Yuhao. During the battle between the two of them, Huo Yuhao exposed his second martial soul, the ultimate ice, the Ice Jade Scorpion. Fan Yu's expression was very helpless. Zhou Yi has such a bad temper, even I find it hard to control her. It's good that she was fired by Shrek, so I don't have to worry about her anymore. Jin Duado, who is also a henpecked husband, also deeply understands this. He smiled slightly and said, okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Didn't you say that Yuhao tested the fixed-type Soul Guide Cannon? Tell me how he performed. Fan Yu said seriously. Just as Dean Jin expected, Huo Yuhao's performance was amazing because of his spirit eyes martial soul. This was his first time using a fixed-type Soul Guide Cannon, but his proficiency far surpassed that of K Tao. Huo Yuhao didn't even use any special soul skills. He just relied on his instinctive talent. After being possessed by his martial soul to hit 3 moving targets at the speed of soul lords at the same time with one shot, Xian Liner and Jin Duado looked at each other, their eyes full of surprise. The two were simply unbelievable. They all knew about K Tao's talent. He was already the Soul Master with the highest Soul Guide talent in the Soul Guide department in recent years. The fact that K Tao officially became a first-level Soul Guide in just 1 year and 4 months had already amazed everyone. Are you sure you didn't use any soul skills? Jin Duado frowned slightly. According to the intelligence, there was speculation that Huo Yuhao's second soul skill was an auxiliary soul skill. Maybe he used it? Definitely not. I didn't feel any fluctuations from using the spirit skill at that time. Fan Yu patted his strong chest and assured, perhaps, we have all underestimated the horror of a spiritual attributed martial soul. Yuhao may have already reached the second awakening of his innate nature. Xian Liner recalled the information she had obtained from Yan Xiaos before. So, Fan Yu, if we put the extreme individual soldier plan on Huo Yuhao, how confident are you? Jin Duado asked. Fan Yu thought for a moment and gave an answer. With K Tao, I am less than 50% sure. But with Huo Yuhao, I am at least 90% sure. If the two of them work together, I am 100% sure. It's difficult to handle. Jin Duado looked at Xian Liner with a questioning look in his eyes. Xian Liner naturally knew what Jin Duado was thinking. He wanted to kidnap someone. However, as early as the previous Poseidon Pavilion meeting, the two were busy obstructing Yan Xiao's proposal at the beginning. After the twin martial souls and the ultimate ice were exposed, they no longer said anything about Huo Yuhao's training plan. No one had expected that Huo Yuhao's spirit eyes martial soul would be so compatible with this soul guide device. When used in battle with this soul guide device, it could fully exert an exponential effect. Such a Huo Yuhao is likely to bring about a complete sublimation of the soul guidance system and change the current situation of a lack of successors who can resist such temptation. However, the Wuhan department will definitely not let anyone go. Moreover, whether it is the martial spirit system or their soul guidance system, As the learning becomes more and more advanced, it will inevitably take up more energy. If they study both at the same time, I am afraid that it will delay Yuhao's child. Isn't it a waste of his talent if he is broad-minded but not specialized? Well, I'll take action, after. Xianliner struggled, a hint of determination flashed in her eyes. I can negotiate with the Wuhan department. Huo Yuhao doesn't need to learn how to make soul guides. He only needs to learn how to use various types of soul guides. In this way, even the elders of the Sea God Pavilion will have no reason to object. Jin Duoluo sighed. This is feasible. He Keitao can make up for the production of soul guides and make him Yuhao's mobile arsenal. But Keitao will have to suffer. This kid has a tough personality and is willing to work hard. He has a good talent in soul guides, but his martial arts soul is a pity. Jin Duoluo seemed to see his own shadow in He Keitao. Since he was young, he has been chasing Yan Xiaos. But the gap between their martial spirits has never been made up by hard work. Fan Yu smiled bitterly and shook his head. Sometimes we have to admit that no matter how hard we try, it is useless to make up for the gap between the spirits, even in the spirit guide. Keitao is just a food-type spirit master. Although his spirit is a good aid to the spirit guide, his own combat power is limited after all. But Huo Yuhao is different. The innate ability of the spirit spirit alone means that the spirit guide was born for him. Then, it's decided. I'll go find Yan Xiaos first. You guys should pay attention and make sure Yuhao chooses to take the soul guide course. Xian Liner left in a hurry, leaving the two people with deep emotion for the future of the soul guidance department. Xian Liner had no choice but to find Yan Xiaos. I hope he can be more sensible. End of this chapter. Chapter 121. Zhang Taegong fishing. The original person took the bait. Then, Jin Duoluo set his sights on Fan Yu and said meaningfully, Fan Yu, as long as you can successfully complete our extreme individual soldier plan, I can guarantee that you will be the next dean of the Soul Guidance Department. Dean Jin, you should know that the reason why I proposed the extreme single soldier plan is definitely not just for the position. There was a hint of fanaticism in Fan Yu's eyes. He had found the last perfect piece of the puzzle regarding the future of fixed-type soul guides. Jin Duoluo smiled slightly. Of course I understand your intention. This is also our common ideal. If our goal can be achieved, even the Sun Moon Empire will not be out of reach. Never had such a great start. Okay, let's go meet Yuhao. At least we should let him practice part-time in the Soul Guidance Department first. I believe that even if it's just part-time training, Huo Yuhao will definitely show his talent in soul guidance equipment. Jin Duoluo patted Fan Yu on the shoulder, then walked towards the test area number 12, the other side. Under the diligent introduction of He Keitao, Huo Yuhao and his two companions stayed in the soul guide test area for nearly half an hour. It actually triggered an unexpected surprise. Looking at He Keitao, who was in high spirits, Huo Yuhao felt as if he was looking at a useful tool. He knew from reading the original novel that He Keitao's real name was Suhi. He was the nephew of the current king of the Sun Moon Empire, and his father was the previous king of the Sun Moon Empire. But the most ruthless family is the imperial family. When He Keitao was 9 years old, his uncle colluded with the evil soul master to launch a palace coup in order to sit on the throne. He Keitao was the only one left and escaped alone. After running into the Xianhan Empire, he was rescued by Fan Yu, who accepted him as his personal disciple and became a core disciple of the Soul Guidance Department. As the former crown prince of the Sun Moon Empire, He Keitao's martial spirit did not inherit his father's sun martial spirit, but his mother's cigar martial spirit. In other words, the quality of the cigar martial spirit is comparable to the Sun Moon Empire's inherited martial spirit. Even if it is slightly inferior, it is not much inferior. It can be said that He Keitao is a gifted food-type soul master. If he is placed in the martial soul department, he will definitely be vigorously cultivated. However, due to his strange soul skills and spells, He Keitao seldom uses his soul skills. In addition, when Fan Yu accepted him as his disciple, he found that his martial soul was food-related, so he did not care and has always trained him as a soul mentor. Therefore, He Keitao has always believed that his martial soul is no different from a useless martial soul, except that it can be cultivated. Although he had never forgotten the blood feud in his heart, he was ultimately just a food-type auxiliary soul master with a cigar martial soul, and it was difficult for him to possess combat power relying on his martial soul alone. He Keitao can only pin his hopes on soul guides and the extreme individual soldier plan. Over the years, he has been desperately learning to make soul guides under Fan Yu's guidance. just to have the right to revenge one day and make some people pay with blood in order to hide his identity, He Tao always presented himself in the most simple image. In addition, his name was special, so people usually called him Tao, or gave him various nicknames, such as the Big Black Guy, the Muscle Man, etc. In the original novel, due to their relationship as fellow apprentices, Guo easily got along with Tao. Their fate started with a call of senior brother and Guo's clear eyes. When they first met, Huo Yuhao felt that he should have left a good impression on Tao relationship. Acquaintance unlocked, achievement triggered. Achieve the very good junior achievement with Tao and receive the reward of Hidden Stone Goo. Hidden Stone Goo, a first-level goo worm. Its ability is to become invisible, but it can only hide its body, not its clothes. Evaluation: the only solution now is to endure. Not long after, the three of them saw Jin Duoluo and Fan Yu, who had hurried over. Yuhao, we meet again, Jin. Duoluo first patted Huo Yuhao's shoulder affectionately, then he looked at Wang Dong and the others with a fiery gaze. Are you also going to take the Soul Guide course? You are very welcome to join us. At this moment, Jin Duoluo almost had the urge to burst into tears. God can be my witness. Their soul guidance department has always been following behind the martial soul department to pick up leftovers. How could they have ever had a genius of this level? It's Tao, who is also picked up by Fan Yu from outside now. Not only has he met a rare genius like Huo Yuhao in a century, but he is also getting two for free. Jin Duoluo remembered that Ningguan and Wang Dong were both core disciples of the Wuhan department. 30 years to Hedun, 30 years to Hexi. The time has come for the soul guidance department to rise. Don't be shy. Sit down, everyone. Jin Duoluo smiled slightly. It was Tao who showed you the soul guide just now, right? Are you sure about your thoughts, Ning? Tian nodded solemnly, handed over the elective form, and said firmly, hello, Dean Jin. I am sure I want to take the soul guidance course. Good boy, with good vision. Jin Duoluo took the elective form and praised it highly. This is the Seven Treasures Glazed Tower. She is at the Soul Master level, and with her distraction control, she is indeed very suitable for learning soul guides. Yuhao, Wang Dong, what about you, Ho? Yuhao nodded. I also plan to take the soul guide course. He is like Zhang Taegong fishing. Those who are willing will take the bait. Huo Yuhao believed that as long as he showed off a few skills, the top leaders of the soul guidance department would never let go of a genius like himself. This way, we can plan ahead. Huo Yuhao planned to buy the soul devouring blade in advance through the soul guidance department's channels. Seeing that Huo Yuhao and the other person had agreed, Wang Dong followed suit and said, like Yuhao, I'm taking the soul guidance equipment elective, but neither of us has the soul guidance equipment elective form, because Ningguan only brought 2 elective forms. Huo Yuhao did not abandon Wang Dong and did not fill out the elective form either. Good. Very good. Elective forms and the like are no big deal. Tao, go to Fan Yu's office and help Yuhao and the others get them. After Jin Duoluo gave the instructions, he reminded, let me make it clear first. As first-year students, you all have the status of core disciples of the martial soul department, so you can't neglect the study of martial soul while taking the elective soul guide. Your focus should still be on the cultivation of martial soul. Except for rest days, you only need to come here to study for 1 hour every day after the martial soul department courses are over. Fan Yu, from now on you will be temporarily responsible for teaching these 3 people. Jin Duoluo waved his hand. As the vice president of the soul guidance department, I will teach you 3 the first lesson today. The development of soul guides is in line with the times, and there is actually no conflict between soul masters and soul guides. If a soul master's martial soul and soul skills are already very powerful, and he can skillfully use various soul guides, it will only be like adding wings to a tiger. However, in the 3 empires that originally belonged to Douluo continent, many people have not yet understood this truth and are still immersed in the pride of the past history of spirit masters. Even Shrek is the same. I believe that you who have chosen to take the soul guide course will definitely gain something. Achievement triggered. Achieve Fan Yu's this boy, don't miss it. Achievement and receive the 4 flavors window worm as a reward. 4 flavored wine worm, a 2nd level poisonous worm that can help soul masters refine and purify their soul power. Evaluation, an alternative and ultimate martial spirit. In this way, the trio began the soul guide elective course. Zio, what about me? End of this chapter. Chapter 122 Wang Yan's Philosophy. Freshman class. Wang Yan stood on the podium, turned around and wrote 5 big words on the blackboard. Soul Guide. Soul Master. Wang Yan turned around and faced everyone. He smiled slightly and said gently, "Today I will talk about soul guides. My teaching philosophy may be very different from that of many teachers. Some of the things involved may be difficult for you to understand now, and may even impact your cognition. But I believe that since you have passed the freshman assessment and successfully stayed in Shrek Academy, you must be the best among your peers. As your class teacher, I also have high hopes for you." Hearing this, the whole class burst into warm applause. Who wouldn't like to hear praise? They were all 11 or 12-year-old soul masters, and they were basically at an age where they were eager to be recognized, especially after seeing what I saw and heard yesterday. Zhou Yi's teaching method was appalling. Fortunately, Huo Yuhao eliminated this scourge. Zhou Yi was directly fired by Dean Yan. What a shame. The students who had suffered at the hands of Zhou Yi all cried and wanted to kneel down and kowtow to Huo Yuhao. Happiness is created by comparison. Wang Yan's gentle attitude and praise for teaching at this moment were simply heartwarming and made everyone feel very comfortable afterwards. Wang Yan didn't waste any more words and went straight to today's topic. Classmates, you have also seen what is written on the blackboard. I would like to ask you, what does a soul guide mean to us soul masters? Is there anyone who can take the initiative to speak? Soul guide? Speaking of this, many students present looked embarrassed in the eyes of everyone. Soul guides are external objects after all. For soul masters, only the abilities they have cultivated themselves are the most reliable and trustworthy. This is also the idea that has been instilled in them since childhood, and most of them have only rejection thoughts about soul guides. Even if there were students who were interested in soul guides, they remained silent and had no intention of speaking up. Wang Yan guessed it by looking at the reactions of the crowd. He certainly understood how deeply rooted the Soul Master tradition was in Shrek Academy. The Soul Guidance Department of Shrek Academy had been established for many years, but it had always been completely suppressed by the Martial Soul Department and had never been able to truly develop. Wang Yan looked at Huo Yuhao and directly mentioned him by name. In this case, let squad leader Huo share his views with us. Huo Yuhao's mouth twitched. Is this the role of a squad leader? He stood up helplessly and said, I personally do not reject soul guides. After all, the development of soul guides is inevitable. By now, the widespread use of civilian soul guides has penetrated into the streets and alleys, and those combat-type soul guides can definitely not be underestimated in terms of the various increases in soul masters. Take the classification of soul masters as an example. After the collision of the Sun-Moon continent and the Douluo continent, the times have changed. For an auxiliary soul master, as long as he has the help of a specific soul guide, even if his own soul skills have no lethality, he can transform into a control system, agile attack system, or even a strong attack system. It can be said that because of the existence of soul guides, they can play an effect similar to soul rings and soul skills, which can make up for the quality gap between some martial souls. Similarly, it is precisely because of the assistance of soul guides that our soul masters can have more diverse soul ring choices. After saying this, Huo Yuhao slowly sat down under Wang Yan's approving gaze. As soon as he finished answering, Class 1's classroom suddenly became noisy. Is the soul guide really as powerful as the squad leader said? How come they don't know? For a moment, the students began to doubt their lives. After all, the person who said these words was Huo Yuhao, the monitor of their class. When they saw the fact that Huo Yuhao punched the Soul Emperor, the freshmen who had just become first-year students, the proud children who had a high opinion of themselves, all lowered their proud heads and were convinced in their opinion. Huo Yuhao's words were much more authoritative than Wang Yan's in Douluo continent. Strength is everything. Most of the students in the class have become class leader Huo's 10-year-old fans and take his words as their guiding principle. Since Huo Yuhao said so, he must have his reasons. Huo Yuhao glanced at the people who looked a little confused and struggling. He just wanted to complain. Why did they have to be entangled in soul masters and soul guides? Why not just take them all? The nature of a gentleman is not different, and he is good at things. There is no need to learn how to make soul guides. How much time can you waste just learning how to use this tool? Those advanced soul guides are sometimes much more useful than soul skills, just like the invincible shield. Although it is a disposable consumable and expensive, the lowest cost is a 5th-level soul guide device, and it also requires the golden crystal stone that is a specialty of the Sun and Moon Empire's material, but this can be said to be the second life of a soul master. Just like the tragic corpse explosion that happened in the original book, if everyone had an invincible shield at that time, would they have been almost wiped out by the Death Messenger, an evil soul master at the Soul King level? All I can say is that this is what happens when one is blinded by the glory of Shrek's traditional soul masters in the past. You don't know what pain is unless you get beaten. Wang Yan smiled. Huo Yuhao's answer really pleased him. I have to say, Yuhao, your views on soul guides are very advanced, and are very similar to mine. You are worthy of being the soul master who chose to take soul guides on the first day of class division. Wang Yan's words were also shocking. What? Someone actually chose to take the soul guidance course? This is hilarious. What? That person is Huo Yuhao? So it's okay. Xiao also quietly complained to Wang Dong at this moment. I really didn't expect that Yuhao, who already has such a strong strength, would also choose to study soul guides. Wang Dong showed an embarrassed expression. Xiao, in fact, Yuhao and I also took the soul guide course together. Xiao looked at Wang Dong and felt betrayed. Wang Dong, you actually did it too. Didn't you say last time that you were not interested in soul guides? Wang Dong touched his nose and apologized. I'm sorry for not bringing you along. In fact, the soul guide elective course only takes an hour a day. If you want to learn soul guides, you can join us. Xiao shook her head and refused again. No, I still have to hurry up and cultivate my soul power and martial soul. I really don't have the time. And with so little time every day, can I really learn anything? Wang Dong wasn't very confident. Maybe? Just learn how to identify and use some soul guides. They shouldn't be as complicated as hidden weapon techniques, right? As Wang Yan spoke again, the whispering between the two of them temporarily ended. It can be said that soul guides are the soul rings of the new era. The students were shocked again. They felt that Wang Yan's words were simply shocking and they all became curious. For us soul masters, there is a fatal problem. Perhaps it won't be a big problem in your generation. But as time goes by, this problem will definitely affect us soul masters. That is soul beasts. Wang Yan added the word soul beast after the 5 words on the blackboard. Soul beast. Everyone was puzzled by Wang Yan's sudden and incoherent words. Wang Yan nodded vigorously. I'm talking about the number of soul beasts. Everyone knows that after a soul master reaches a bottleneck, he needs to hunt soul beasts to absorb soul rings in order to truly achieve a breakthrough. Although soul beasts may have existed for tens of millions of years, the number of soul masters among us humans is always 1 in 1,000, which is not too many. But in order to increase the number of soul rings, we are always eroding the living space of soul beasts. According to the data, the growth of soul beasts does not necessarily rely on the growth of time to improve their cultivation. Just like soul masters, soul beasts can also use external objects to improve their cultivation. 100-year soul beasts and 1,000-year soul beasts are more like the boundaries of soul rings, which does not mean that they must have cultivated for this period of time. However, the time required for soul beasts to grow is still too long. Geniuses of your level must be pursuing the best soul ring ratio. The 3rd ring is purple for 1,000 years, and the 5th ring is black for 10,000 years. And with your progress, when can you reach the level of Soul King? Maybe 18 or 19 years is enough. But a soul beast of 10,000 years level needs nearly 10,000 years of practice to achieve it. Therefore, as more geniuses appear, there will be fewer soul beasts of 10,000 years or more. Speaking of this, Wang Yan became a little excited. 10,000 years ago, the overall strength of the soul beasts on the continent was still greater than that of us humans. However, 10,000 years later, I can say with certainty that the overall strength of the soul beasts can no longer compare to ours. This is because too many high-level soul beasts have become our human soul rings. So, let me ask you, what will happen in another 10,000 years? What will the continent be like by then? Will we still be able to hunt soul beasts in the soul beast forest as we do? Hearing this was a wake-up call for the students. Everyone was deeply shocked and their faces became solemn. Wang Yan's voice gradually became louder. I can give you the answer. No. It is no exaggeration to say that in 10,000 years, even 10-year spirit rings will become a luxury. The final fate of spirit beasts can only be to be kept in captivity by us humans and become complete vassals. By that time, even a 100-year spirit ring will become an unattainable existence. Without a powerful spirit ring, what can we spirit masters rely on to improve our strength? Only spirit guides can do this. This is an inevitable phenomenon of the evolution of the times. I can't change this process, and neither can you. What you need to do now is to accept this reality. Of course, I'm not saying this to ask you to give up your soul master training and turn to studying soul guides. What I want to say is that you are now at a critical moment of change in the times. I hope you will not reject soul guides, but try to accept them and perfectly integrate them with your own strength. At the end, Wang Yan's expression was extremely solemn. The classroom was unusually silent. Some of what Wang Yan said seemed distant to everyone, but some of it made them feel a sense of urgency. Everyone understood that Wang Yan said this in order to make them accept the soul guide. This feeling was not comfortable and also disrupted their inherent thinking. Wang Yan said nothing more, just looked at these young children, looking at the hope for the future of Shrek Academy, and waited quietly for their thoughts. He knew that these children needed time. Huo Yuhao looked at everyone silently, maintaining his training state using Yuanqi. The more soul masters there are, the fewer soul beasts there are, the fewer soul beasts there are, the fewer soul masters there are who can absorb suitable soul rings to grow. Therefore, the more soul masters there are, the fewer soul masters there are. The abnormal relationship between soul masters and soul beasts. It doesn't matter, the Son of Fortune will take action. Once the gold of life is obtained, Mr. Yi can start studying the soul system. Although the soul system is not a perfect solution. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123. The Sea God Conference is held again. Study life became peaceful again after the Soul Martial Arts Department course is over. Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong will go to the Soul Guidance Department to learn how to make and use soul guides for an hour. Of course, it was together with Ningguang, and the three of them studied under Fan Yu's guidance. However, the focus of the three people is still on the cultivation of martial spirits. For example, Wang Dong came here to relax rather than learn how to make soul guides. Read a book, have some sex. It's so relaxing. But Huo Yuhao and Ningguang are different. Fan Yu's teaching was especially strict, and his demands on the two of them were second to none even in Shrek Academy on the day when he first experienced this kind of education. Wang Dong seemed to see the shadow of Zhou Yi in Fan Yu. He almost thought that he had suffered an unexpected disaster and that Fan Yu was deliberately taking the opportunity of teaching to take revenge on Huo Yuhao later. After the misunderstanding was resolved, Wang Dong could only say that if they were not from the same family, they would not enter the same door. Fortunately, although Fan Yu is strict, he will not expel students at will, and he turns a blind eye to Wang Dong's laziness. After all, I'm just practicing soul guides as a side job, so too much is as bad as too little. These three people are not his direct disciples, so Fan Yu has neither the obligation nor the right to force them to do something, especially Wang Dong. Although she was quite good at forging, she knew nothing about engraving the core magic array. Ningguang's talent is indeed good, and it can be said that it is not inferior to Hiketao's. For Huo Yuhao, Fan Yu could only describe him as terrifying. Every time he made progress, Fan Yu was shocked beyond words. In just less than a month, Huo Yuhao completed the basic training of forging, learned the processes of shaping, casting, quenching, polishing, and then began to learn how to engrave the core magic array. Fan Yu even thought about accepting a disciple, but after Jin Duo's advice, he finally gave up the 12th laboratory of the soul guide test area next to the huge metal table. Fan Yu, Wang Dong, Ningguang, and Hiketao stood beside Huo Yuhao and watched quietly. Fan Yu had his hands behind his back, but he was watching very intently. Wang Dong and the other two clenched their fists, looking a little nervous, their hearts fluctuating with Huo Yuhao's carving. Huo Yuhao sat in front of a metal table. Obscure and complex patterns shone with the golden light around his pupils. In his right hand, he held a slender blue knife, carving on a hexagonal block of metal. His movements were slow, but his hands were steady, and every time the knife fell, it was calm and firm. Dean Jin said that even with my current strength and status, I am not qualified to be Huo Yuhao's master. I can only be considered a guide. Fan Yu looked at Huo Yuhao, who was concentrating on engraving, with burning eyes, his mind in turmoil whether he's a guide or a witness to the rise of a man who will surely become a 9th-level soul mentor in the future. He has made a great contribution. Huo Yuhao only officially started learning how to engrave magic arrays 3 months ago. Because of his spirit eye's martial soul, he once again demonstrated his true genius in soul guide making. There is no shortcut to engraving the core magic array, and one can only try again and again, but Huo Yuhao can have a photographic memory, and he can remember those core magic arrays directly after looking at them once. Moreover, Huo Yuhao not only had a very strong mental power, but also had the assistance of mental detection. The engraving of the core array often failed due to slight errors, but this would never happen with him. It took Huo Yuhao only 1 month to learn the theory, memorize the magic array, start practicing engraving, and complete the first level 1 soul guide magic array. In other words, leaving aside the 3 months before the freshman assessment, it only took Huo Yuhao 2 months to officially become a first-level soul engineer since he entered school. This is simply unheard of in the records of the 3 major empires of Xianhan, Douluo and Xingluo. It is really too shocking. It can be said that although it is unclear what the record of the Sun Moon Empire is, in terms of the speed of becoming a first-level soul engineer, Huo Yuhao is definitely the undisputed #1 among the 3 empires. You can even get a chance to meet the top talents from the Sun Moon Empire. It has to be said that soul masters with spiritual attributes do have innate advantages in making and using soul guides, and now, only 1 month has passed since Huo Yuhao became a first-level soul engineer, and Huo Yuhao has begun to try to engrave a true second-level core with the last trace of metal debris falling on the metal table. The engraving was successful. Huo Yuhao slowly injected his soul power into it. Suddenly, the metal block emitted a clear blue light, and the soft halo turned into a beam of light that rose up to a foot high. The blue halo was straight and firm, without the slightest sway, and the metal block emitted a transparent blue. Seeing this scene, Huo Yuhao also relaxed and a smile appeared on his face. The second-level soul power amplification core formation was successful. Wang Dong was the first to cheer. He Tao looked at Huo Yuhao with a dull look in his eyes. Did it really succeed? Ning Tian looked at Huo Yuhao's performance and felt a little distracted. Is it possible that Yuhao is so talented in soul guides? Obviously, the two of them were exposed to soul guides at the same time. Huo Yuhao was able to successfully engrave the second-level core array in 3 months, while she was still at the threshold of engraving the first-level core array. Although teacher Fan Yu always said that she was very talented, it must be said that Ningtian was hit at this moment. Okay. Fan Yu finally spoke. His excited expression was enough to show how uneasy he was at the moment. Yuhao, you are now a formal level 2 soul guide. Success is not accidental. Not only do you have talents that are beyond the reach of ordinary people, but you are also hardworking and incomparable. You know, the complexity of the second-level magic array core is at least 3 times that of the first-level core, and it requires extremely high use of soul power. Fan Yu knew that Huo Yuhao's success was no fluke. He had truly fulfilled the requirement of stable soul power control. Maybe, in a corner unknown to him, this child has also been working hard to learn soul guides. Huo Yuhao? That's not the case at all. Pure talent. 1 hour a day devoted to the soul guide is enough. After 3 months of hard training, Huo Yuhao's soul power level only increased by 1 level, reaching level 36 as expected. The improvement of the ultimate martial spirit is slow. What's more, the ice soul body is by no means ordinary extreme ice. Even the second level 4 flavor wine worm that Huo Yuhao had pulled from Fan Yu a while ago was unable to refine Huo Yuhao's soul power any further. This is evident. I don't know whether the gold of life that I will soon get will be of any help to the current situation. Otherwise, I can only take drugs. 5 months later, he planned to go to the starred out Great Forest to obtain suitable spirit rings, and he had to raise his spirit power level to level 40. Poseidon Pavilion. Several respected elders in Shrek and the 4 deans and vice deans gathered at the conference table again as the highest meeting of Shrek Academy. The Poseidon Pavilion meeting can be held in 2 ways. One is the annual regular meeting, and the other is the temporary meeting. Every time a temporary meeting is held, it means that something big is happening in Shrek Academy. In history, there have been several temporary meetings of Poseidon Pavilion that even determined the direction of the continent. Looking back to the last time an emergency meeting of the Sea God Pavilion was held, it was because Yan Xiao's recommended Huo Yuhao and wanted to train him as the future of Shrek in less than 5 months. It was another impromptu meeting. Thinking of this, Yan Xiao subconsciously looked at Xian Liner sitting opposite him. I don't know why she is convening a meeting of Poseidon Pavilion this time. Yan Xiao's had a bad feeling in his heart. Perhaps because Huo Yuhao was also practicing soul guides just 2 months ago. Because of this issue, Xian Liner deliberately lowered herself to come and discuss this matter with him as the dean of the Wuhan department. Yan Xiao's originally planned to refuse. However, due to personal reasons, he finally agreed. After all, he is just the dean. Can he forcibly interfere with Huo Yuhao's choice? Since Yuhao wants to take the Soul Guide course, then let him take it. After all, he is in their martial soul department and can't escape. Let's start the meeting now that everyone is here. Liner, you will preside over the meeting this time. As Mu Lao's voice slowly sounded, the Poseidon Pavilion meeting started again. Yes, Mr. Mu, Xian. Liner stood up and bowed towards the main seat. I'll be frank with you. This time it's all because of Huo Yuhao. Maybe because of his spiritual attribute, Yuhao has a very high talent in soul guide making. It only took him an elective course and only took him 3 months to go from an ordinary soul master who had never touched a soul guide to a second-level soul master. This speed of improvement has created a history for the entire 3 empires, and is even better than the top existence in the Sun Moon Empire. I am here to express the position of the Soul Guidance Department. No matter what, our Soul Guidance Department will not let go of such a genius. Moreover, our Soul Guidance Department has decided to do our utmost to train this child and strive to train him to become the first 9th-level soul instructor of our Shrek Academy within 20 years. Jin Douluo also stood up immediately and unconditionally supported his wife's decision. In order to train Huo Yuhao, I discussed with Dean Xian and Fan Yu and decided that the extreme single soldier plan will be implemented on him. And He K Tao, who was originally carrying out the plan, will be trained as an auxiliary soul mentor for the extreme single soldier. The martial spirit department of our academy is already #1 on the continent, but our soul guidance department is not yet. We have been working hard to improve it, hoping to make a breakthrough. And what do we lack the most? Talent. In Huo Yuhao, we see the hope of becoming a 9th-level soul guide. At this moment, Yan Xiao's also stood up and said in a deep voice, "No, I don't agree." In addition, it was decided in the last meeting that Huo Yuhao will be trained by our Wuhan department, and you also agreed. Regarding the future of Shrek, I will never give it up. Yan Xiao's words were firm and decisive, leaving no room for turning back in this matter. The martial soul system is in the right. He can stand on the moral high ground and make comments both emotionally and logically. End of this chapter. Chapter 124 The Secret of the Body Sect. After hearing Yan Xiao's reply, Xian Liner refused to give in. What Dean Jin means is what I mean. Our Soul Guidance Department is willing to go all out on Huo Yuhao. If we cannot complete the extreme single soldier plan with him, I am willing to resign as Dean of the Soul Guidance Department. The elders couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Xian Liner's move was too cruel. Although most of the elders are from the martial soul department, it is impossible for them not to consider the thoughts of the 2 deans of the Soul Guidance Department. What's more, this time the Soul Guidance Department is fighting a do-or-die battle and gambled everything for a moment. Yan Xiao's felt very embarrassed. If they continued to fight like this, the already deep-rooted contradictions between the 2 factions would probably erupt completely, which was not what he wanted to see. As the Dean of the Martial Soul Department, he would of course work hard for the development of the Martial Soul Department, but at the same time, the Martial Soul Department was also a part of the entire Shrek Academy, and the infighting in Shrek Academy was not what he wanted to see. Yan Xiao's had never imagined that Huo Yuhao's talent in soul guides was so amazing. If he had known this, he should not have agreed to Liner's idea of letting him take soul guides as an elective. Seeing that the atmosphere was somewhat silent, Zhuangzi coughed, stood up and said, "In my opinion, it is better for Yuhao to focus on cultivating his martial soul. After all, he has both twin martial souls and is also the ultimate ice. It is really putting the cart before the horse to distract himself from cultivating soul guides." Elder Lin, who was sitting opposite Zhuangzi, frowned and could not help but said, "Zhuangzi, what you said is meaningless. I know more about soul masters than you do. This is the first time I have heard of someone becoming a second-level soul master in just 3 months, and this is under the condition of concurrent cultivation. If Yuhao can concentrate on soul guides, I am afraid that his future achievements will definitely be no less than condemning of the Sun Moon Empire." Zhuan Zi snorted, "So what? With the training of our Wuhan department, Yuhao's future achievements will definitely reach the level of Elder Mu. It would be a waste to put such a talent in the Soul Guidance Department." Xian Liner stood up suddenly and retorted, "Master Zhuan, how can it be considered a waste in our Soul Guidance Department? As far as I know, the Martial Soul Department has no experience in cultivating the ultimate ice element. Moreover, as an elder, you should not have a preference for the Martial Soul Department. If you are so partial to the Martial Soul Department, is there any meaning for our Soul Guidance Department to exist?" Elder Zhuan was not annoyed. Girl, you. I do have a preference. The soul guidance department is indeed important, but the martial soul is the foundation of a soul master, and it is also the foundation of our Shrek Academy. And who said that the martial soul department can't be cultivated? Zhuan. Zi took a sip of wine and continued, Yuhao was only a great soul master when he entered school, but now he has reached the soul master level. Doesn't the martial soul system help him at all? The most important thing is that he easily defeated the Soul Emperor Zhou, who was trying his best at the time with the Ice Jade Scorpion, which only had 1,000-year soul ring. Judging from what he has shown right now, I'm afraid he has surpassed Tang San's ancestor of the same period, with Zhuangzi leading the charge. Yan Xiao's also stood up and expressed his opinion, nodding his head and saying, that's right, I was there at the time and witnessed Huo Yuhao defeat Zhou Yi with my own eyes. It was simply a crushing defeat. Although it was due to the restraint of his martial spirit, Yuhao's strength cannot be denied. Elder Lin did not continue to refute. Even he had to admit that with the strength of a soul master, he could defeat a soul emperor. Such talent was truly terrifying, seeing that both the martial soul department and the soul guidance department were unwilling to give in. The elders all showed signs of embarrassment. For the sake of the peaceful development of the two departments, they all seemed very cautious. No one continued to express their opinions, but silently waited for the chief Mu elder to make a decision. Everyone, sit down. After a long time, the old and gentle voice finally sounded again. Upon hearing this voice, the two parties who were originally confronting each other immediately restrained themselves and sat back in their seats. Let me ask you, what was the goal of Shrek Academy when it was first established? Yan Xiao's answered respectfully, to train monster-level soul masters. Yes, in that case, why can't we be bolder and cultivate a real monster? Plenty of money, here. Jin Duoluo quickly stood up. Let me ask you, during the 3 months that Huo Yuhao was training as a soul mentor, did he ever interrupt his studies in the martial soul system? Jin Duoluo immediately replied, no, he only studied with Fan Yu for 1 hour every afternoon. That's why I say he is a true genius. Under such difficult conditions, he became a second-level soul mentor in just 3 months. Okay, Xiaos, let me ask you, during Huo Yuhao's journey to becoming a level 2 soul instructor, did he ever interrupt his studies in the martial soul department? Did his cultivation level ever fall behind? Yan Xiao said, no, Huo Yuhao's current soul power level has reached level 36. When this child first entered the academy, his soul power was level 27. In just half a year, his soul power has increased by nearly 10 levels, and this is even after level 30, when the cultivation speed is reduced due to extreme attributes. Not only is he extremely talented, he is also very hard-working in cultivation and has very good luck, so the disciples think that he is more suitable to stay in our martial soul department. Mu Lao suddenly laughed, his voice a little hoarse. Those involved are confused. What are you still fighting about? Wouldn't it be better to just let him practice dual cultivation? Double cultivation? Question mark. The 4 deans were all stunned. Mu Lao smiled slightly. In fact, you have all made a misunderstanding. That is, the martial soul system and the soul guidance system are fundamentally opposed. But the real difference between the martial soul system and the soul guidance system is only the difference in offensive and defensive methods. Liner, if you want to become a top soul guide, then becoming a top soul master is a prerequisite. Otherwise, without enough soul power, how can he create and control more powerful soul guides? Xiaos, the same goes for you. Since Huo Yuhao is so talented in making soul tools, then soul tools are powerful weapons to protect him and can help him get through the weak stage. In this case, why can't we let him practice soul tools? Besides, our Shrek Academy is indeed lacking top soul tools right now. I think that this child should be allowed to continue practicing dual cultivation. What you should do is not to force him to make a choice, but to give him a relaxed and comfortable training environment as much as possible. You all overlooked one thing, that is, the child's own thoughts. After all, he is only 12 years old, therefore, the best thing for you to do now is to keep everything the same and let Huo Yuhao continue to study in the same way as before, and both departments should allocate resources equally. As for the future, there is no rush. After hearing what Poseidon Pavilion Master said, the elders all nodded. Xian Liner asked, Teacher, what if Huo Yuhao's grades start to decline? Isn't this simple? Let him make his own choice when the time comes. He can go to the department he likes more. Yan Xiaos and Xian Liner looked at each other and relaxed indeed. With the two sides at a stalemate, this outcome seems to be the best for Shrek Academy. An important Poseidon Pavilion meeting came to an end, and arrangements were also made for Huo Yuhao's follow-up. The next day as class time approached, a number of students were already sitting scattered around the classroom. Without exception, the topic they were discussing was yesterday's student notice. The Soul Guidance Department also gave Huo Yuhao the status of a core disciple, making him the first dual core disciple in the Academy's history. Squad leader, you are too strong. Yes, I also signed up for the Soul Guide elective not long ago. After attending one class, I gave up. It was too difficult. I can't learn it. Even if you kill me, I can't learn it. Do you think it's because of the spiritual attribute of the martial soul? The squad leader's spiritual eyes are his own martial soul, which may have a great bonus to learning these things. At this point, the student's eyes suddenly lit up, as if he had discovered some shocking secret, and he became more and more excited as he spoke. This view has also attracted the approval of the general public. Yes, maybe it is really because of the martial soul. Isn't the definition of the martial soul gradually announced to the public along with this soul guide? You are simply a genius. I remember there was a sect that specialized in cultivating the body spirit. It was called the Body Spirit Sect, right? Yes, I've heard from my family before that the body sect is good at using soul guides. The reason they capture children who have awakened their body martial spirits is probably to let them learn soul guides from a young age. Perhaps the original body of the sect was from the Sun-Moon continent, but due to unknown reasons, it had a disagreement with the current mainstream of the Sun-Moon Empire, so it came to our side. In just a few words, several students deduced the secrets of the body sect and its unknown history. They looked at each other and exclaimed in amazement, "No wonder the body sect and Ming Hall are so at odds with each other. And even with us Shrek, the body sect has never been on good terms." So this is the reason. When Huo Yuhao finished his breakfast and walked into the classroom late, the originally noisy classroom suddenly became silent. Ignoring the strange looks, Huo Yuhao came to his seat. Yuhao, Wang, Dong and Xiao, who were sitting next to him, came over. That Wang. Dong looked at Huo Yuhao, his voice clearly a little nervous. Huo Yuhao looked at her in confusion. What's wrong, Yuhao? It's like this. Wang Dong wants to ask you if you are from the Benti sect. Xiao continued. The body sect? No, even though I'm from the Sky Soul Empire, I've never had any contact with the body sect. Huo Yuhao decided to carry out his own character setting, although he didn't know whether Shrek had found out his true origins. Since it had already come to this, he just kept it to himself. Xiao patted his slightly flat chest and said in a relaxed tone, "That's good. We thought you had been rejecting Tang's sex request because you had already joined the body sect." Huo Yuhao looked a little strange. No one has stipulated that if you join a sect, you can't join other sects, right? You know, even Wang Dong, the young master of Haoshan sect, can join Tang's sect. Wang Dong also hurriedly spoke up. Then Yuhao, the reason why you learned the soul guide so quickly is because of the spirit I martial soul. End of this chapter. Chapter 125. The soul-devouring blade finally obtained. Yes, the spiritual eyes really helped a lot. Huo Yuhao would not deny this. Whether it is mental detection or the advantage of mental power, it is inseparable from the martial soul Ling Mao. Of course, Huo Yuhao himself has great talent in soul guides, and the two complement each other, really. Afterwards, the two of them talked to Huo Yuhao about the rumors about the secrets of the body sect. In response, Huo Yuhao could only answer, "If I remember correctly, the body sect is a sect of authentic traditional soul masters, and the people in the sect have always treated soul guides with disdain. This is the case with Long Aoshan in the original novel. If he had an invincible shield to protect himself, he would not have died so easily." However, there are indeed some correct guesses in this unofficial history. That is the direction of integrating the body's martial soul with the soul guide in the later part of the original novel. Dubuxi entrusted Ho Guo with the secret of the body, which explained, "If you are out of touch with the times, you are destined to be abandoned." All members of our body sect must remember that the future is the era of soul-guided technology. In this era, we still have the ability to stand out. The combination of the body martial soul and the soul-guided device will surely shock the world. It is indeed as he said, the original martial soul has a comprehension ability far beyond that of ordinary martial souls. More importantly, the part of the original martial soul is also the part where the physical condition of the original soul masters is far superior to that of ordinary people. To put it simply, If a soul master's martial soul is a hand, then the load on the opponent of the soul guide device that his hand can use must be much greater than that of an ordinary soul master, which is a huge advantage. Huo Yuhao's spirit eye's martial soul is actually his eyes and brain, which greatly increases his comprehension and is very suitable for learning soul guides. The value of the Son of Fortune. It can be said that Huo Yuhao was born for soul guides, however, with a threat of a certain adult above him. The soul guide device that has no prospects for the time being is actually of little help to Huo Yuhao. All I can say is that the future is promising. The influence of martial spirit is indeed huge. I only have a little talent in forging. Soul guides are really not suitable for me. Wang Dong's voice brought Huo Yuhao back to reality while he was thinking, "It's okay, Wang Dong. The future is yours. Come on, to be honest." With a bonus of Clear Sky Hammer and Chaos Cloak Hammer technique, Wang Dong learned the basics of forging at a very fast speed, second only to Huo Yuhao, who was extremely strong, but times have changed with Huo Yuhao's advice and help. Fan Yu also improved the forging process, and some metal blanks have already entered the stage of automated forging. Soul guides are not the god-level mechas of later generations, where every part must be made personally. Of course, Huo Yuhao would do whatever was easiest. A hydraulic hammer forging machine is much faster than manual forging. The metal blanks that have been hydraulically forged only need fine processing before they can be used directly to carve formations. It saves time and effort, and has helped many people working in the soul guidance department. Because of this, this matter has spread throughout the soul guidance department, and everyone knows that Huo Yuhao is famous for saving people from suffering. Because of this, Wang Dong completely gave up playing with vagina. He pulled out the hammer and looked around. Feeling confused, Wang Dong looked at the forging hammer in his hand, feeling powerless. Although the important parts used in those advanced soul guides still need to be manually made, this level has nothing to do with Wang Dong. In response to this, Huo Yuhao also comforted him carefully. It is actually not bad to use human forging metal to exercise the body. At least it can allow Wang Dong to practice Haoshin's unique skills and increase his proficiency in using the Haoshin hammer. Moreover, human forging of metal does have its merits. Huo Yuhao remembered the soul forging in Douluo III, which sublimated metal and nurtured souls. The times are back again. Unfortunately, during the Douluo II period, this was completely impossible to do. And I don't know if it was because of the will of Douluo Star. Anyway, Huo Yuhao doesn't want to study it now. To him, the current soul guide is just a useful tool, and the cultivation of martial soul is more important. Test area number 12. After today's soul guide course ended, Huo Yuhao came to Xian Liner's office alone. "Yuhao, the carving knife that I promised you has arrived." Carving knife. Any soul master needs a carving knife, which is the most important necessity for soul masters to use when engraving core magic arrays. Both ends of the carving knife have uses, and their usage is different when engraving different magic arrays. Huo Yuhao also has a carving knife, which was given to him by Fan Yu. It is also a very good carving knife. It is made of complete diamond material. It is sharp, hard and stable, and is very suitable for him to use. Fan Yu also promised that after Huo Yuhao's cultivation reached the 4th level soul engineer, he would find a better carving knife for him. After all, the higher the level of the soul guide, the tougher the metal he has to deal with. A good carving knife can make the soul guide more efficient in the process of making soul guides, and vice versa. Xian Liner side, I really didn't expect that this ranking engraving knife would actually appear at the Sun Moon Empire's auction, and was successfully bought by our people. It only cost 100,000 gold coins, which is really a bargain. In the Douluo continent's carving knife rankings, only the top 100 carving knives are recorded, which are called ranked carving knives. More than 2/3 of them are in the Sun Moon Empire, which is one of the important reasons why the soul masters of the Sun Moon Empire are so powerful. It is extremely rare for a ranking engraving knife to appear at a top auction, because almost every ranking engraving knife is regarded as a treasure by the soul guide who owns it, and will only be passed down. Few prodigals will take it out for auction. The highest auction price for a ranking engraving knife that had ever appeared in history was even as high as tens of millions of gold soul coins. And that was a ranking engraving knife that was ranked in the top 20. When Huo Yuhao first talked about the requirements for becoming a core disciple of the soul guidance department, even Xian Liner couldn't help but roll her eyes at him. Among the rare items that Shrek Academy was looking for, the ranking carving knife had long been famous. Especially in the soul guidance department, even the Vice-Dean Jin Duoluo was unable to use a ranking carving knife. What I want is the soul devouring knife, which ranks 99th and is known as the most vicious knife. As a result, Huo Yuhao said something shocking in the end. The Soul Guidance Department did successfully purchase the Soul Devouring Blade, but when they really got it, they were all very hesitant about whether to give it to Huo Yuhao. The Soul Devouring Knife has a history of more than 3,000 years. 3,000 years ago, it appeared in the Sun Moon Empire. Its creator was a brilliant 9th-level soul mentor, and also a terrifying evil soul master. In the end, the evil soul master was successfully killed by the Shrek supervisory group at a price, and the knife was passed down according to the history that Shrek had traced. This murderous knife had a total of 37 owners. However, without exception, all of these 37 people died tragically in the end. Among them, 9 even became evil spirit masters. It is said that this soul-devouring sword contains a trace of the soul of the genius evil soul master, which will lead people to evil. Only those with a weak will can use it, and it must not be used frequently. Therefore, its ranking has fallen again and again, and finally reached the point where it can no longer fall. It is only because of its history and past glory that it has never been removed from the list of engraved knives. Yuhao, have you thought it through? The horror of the backlash of the evil knife is not as simple as it seems on the surface. This can be seen from the fact that its owner has never escaped unscathed. Moreover, just by looking at it, I can feel the evil nature contained in it. Xian Liner took out a metal box made of cold iron from the soul guide with a serious expression. After the metal box was opened, a cold and fierce aura immediately overflowed from it, as if penetrating directly into the soul. A carving knife was seen inside it. This carving knife is very small, about half a foot long and only as thick as a finger. From bottom to top, it changes from wide to narrow. The top is a very sharp tip, while the bottom is a sharp blade about half an inch wide. The whole is simple and black, with faint patterns engraved on it, exuding a faint ancient and gloomy atmosphere. Huo Yuhao nodded, stretched out his hand, and was about to grasp the soul-devouring knife. Xian Liner said quickly, "Be careful, don't inject soul power into the soul-devouring blade. If you really want to use it, I can ask Elder Mu to help you, and he will definitely be able to purify it." "That's not necessary." Huo Yuhao's face was calm. He grabbed the soul-devouring blade and refined it in an instant. Xian Liner was shocked. Huo Yuhao assured, "With my mental power and the properties of ultimate ice, I can just clear the remaining curse. There will be no problem at all." Xian Liner frowned slightly. "Yuhao, why are you so impulsive? This concerns your life and future. What if something goes wrong? If you want to use the ranking knife, I can lend you mine." She thought Huo Yuhao wanted this carving knife just for collection, but she didn't expect that he really wanted to use it. But it was too late to say this now. Xian Liner could only trust Huo Yuhao and start to protect him. Thinking of this, Xian Liner wanted to contact Yan Xiaos through the soul guide and ask him to come over quickly. The other party's martial soul is the Phoenix of Light, which should be of some use. The moment Huo Yuhao's soul power came into contact with it, the fierce knife began to tremble violently, and a series of shrill buzzing sounds came from the carving knife. If a person with a weak will hears this voice, his emotions will probably be greatly affected, especially Huo Yuhao, who was in close contact with it. He felt that the soul-devouring knife was madly devouring his mental power, and there was also an extremely cold breath with a terrifying and fierce aura attacking him at this level. Even if the soul-devouring blade devours more, it will only be a drop in the ocean. Huo Yuhao, whose mental power has reached the soul Douluo level, has already reached the boundless realm of endless life and self-circulation at the same time. Huo Yuhao, who had been prepared, had a brilliant purple gold light shining in his eyes, and then 3 soul rings appeared. Xian Liner stopped her actions and looked at Huo Yuhao in surprise. She could deeply feel that the spiritual energy emanating from Huo Yuhao at this moment was so powerful, far exceeding that of an ordinary soul sage. Soul impact. The murderous knife let out a mournful cry, as if it was struggling in its death throes. A strong green light violently emanated from its body. The green light actually formed a hideous face in the air, making a crazy and roaring gesture. This is the last-ditch struggle of evil thoughts and curses on the carving knife. End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.